It's true. It's another Friday night, and we're here with Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Franco.
And we're here with Jason Jaconetti.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm good.
It's Friday night. We're all still quarantined, padlocked, locked down.
And we're all sharing this stream.
Yay! Don't cross the streams, though. We're allowed to share.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't cross them.
Don't cross them. But I'm here with a good buddy of mine. His name is Jason Jaconetti. We work together. We like each other most of the time, mostly, kind of. But he does some cool monster stuff. He paints all these models and stuff like that. I'm going to show what we're going to work on in a couple seconds. But we're here tonight. A couple of things we need to talk about. What do we need to talk about first, Wayne? If you're watching on Facebook, don't cross the streams, though. Ooh, yeah. Oh, echo. If you're watching on Facebook, that's Wayne's fault. Yay! If you're watching on Facebook, you have to share your username and give StreamYard your permission because we're broadcasting on StreamYard. So if you want us to know who you are, you have to share your name on with StreamYard from Facebook. And what's the other thing? I forgot I was going to say something. I don't know.
You also want people to share it with each other.
Yes, share and share alike. Because we want viewers and you can write in your questions. We don't put them up on screen because we're usually working on stuff, and that's why we have Wayne. Wayne is here to read stuff and react to stuff, and he'll read your post out and all that other stuff. Tonight we're going to talk about WandaVision. We're going to talk about Resident Alien, and then I have my monster expert, which is Jason, and Wayne is a big monster. He went back. He's crack. Homework guy. He went and watched all the old Godzilla movies this week.
Well, not all the old Godzilla, just Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's like a lot.
Yeah. So he's going to be our resident expert on that. And as we're talking tonight, we're going to do some stuff. I have my my drawing stuff here. I did a sketch this week of Godzilla versus Kong. This is my Godzilla versus Kong pen sketch because I always doodle in pen. And it had this long oblong piece of paper that's weird. So I drew it on there, and then I light boxed it over. So I'm going to be drawing it in pencil. So I'm going to be using tonight. I like doing different things, Wayne. If you haven't noticed, I like working in different styles and stuff like that. So tonight I'm going to use an ebony pencil. And look, if you look at it, it says extra smooth, jet black.
Sort of like Colt 45.
Yeah, that's it exactly, Wayne. This is the Billy D. Williams of pencil because it's smooth. It's a smooth pencil.
Swig.
It's smooth. Yeah, there you go. And we got Jason who's going to be working on stuff here as well. So what is this we're working on here, Jason?
So this is a half-scale mask produced by Casey Love a number of years ago.
We're going to highlight this. Let's take a look at it.
Casey Love is he worked in special effects and movies and stuff like that too, and he also does masks and stuff for Death Studio and his own stuff as well. Good friend, really great guy, and he does a lot of work in latex. He also does a lot of work in resin as well. I've painted a number of his resin kits. So this is one of the new pieces I was kind of just working on. It's not a new piece, but it's new to me piece. So it's
scary looking, Jason. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it is. It's not quite as big as my head though.
Yeah, and if everybody is. It's to scale almost, but you got a big giant fat head, so
I do have a giant fat head.
But if everybody is good and on their best behavior, let's highlight this. Hold on.
Here, I'll tell you.
Is this the same as your head? This is Resident Alien, Wayne.
No. I took her to the high school prom.
Oh.
I recognize that dental work anywhere.
I'll tell you right now, if as this is another Casey piece, we did this one. This is an actual wearable mask. It doesn't have eye holes, but it's wearable. But like when we were painting, when I started watching Resident Alien, I was like, oh my god, this looks a lot like the piece I painted with Casey, except he has much nicer dental work than this guy does. This guy's.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like it. I was saying before, if we're all nice to Jason, maybe we could take a tour of some of his basement down there, because he's got all sorts of stuff hanging on the walls and monster pieces everywhere. So I'm going to start drawing because that's what I like to do, and we're going to start talking about stuff. And remember, Wayne, the other thing we got to tell everybody: spoilers. We have lots of
spoilers.
Well, there's 5 people that are angry online. I see emojis coming up, and 5 people are angry.
Well, I don't
what
know because D. Brad says he's really happy that we're all here.
Oh, thanks, D. Brad. That's awesome. But yeah. So we got to tell everybody that they're spoilers. So don't get angry at us because we're telling you right now that they're spoilers. We're going to talk about spoilers, everything from WandaVision to
Resident Alien.
Resident Alien. We're going to talk. Well, Kong and King Kong, Skull Island and Godzilla have been out for a while. So if those are spoilers to you, you got to catch up on stuff. I know this show is called Catching Up. You are way behind if you haven't watched it. But we are going to talk about the new trailer, which is why we went back and watched the other movies.
And I think the biggest spoiler is Godzilla is the king of the monsters.
Is he though? Because they have a
According
new movie.
To the last movie.
Yeah, that's the last movie, but now we got a new one coming up. So, but we'll get to that later. We'll get to that one later. So if you're out there, you can leave messages. You can talk to us. You can put up angry emojis. The angry emojis are bothering me. I don't know why that's happening, but somebody out there doesn't like me, Wayne. You know I can't live with that.
Actually, I think it's more me because I'm wearing the glasses. You see, that's why.
Oh, that's why they're angry.
We're
all wearing glasses. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. D. Brad really loves your masks, Jason.
Thank you.
And Kirk Wimberger says he's got to go. Can't hear spoilers, man. Just not want any spoilers.
Kurt, but that's okay. You're out if you're out in Colorado, Kurt. So that's like 2 hours behind us. So you're fine. Just watch us now, and then go back and watch the WandaVision, and then you'll be fine. Is that the way that works?
Yeah, we'll just expand the sphere of influence like Wanda did.
He's like 2 time zones over, so he can watch the show now and then watch WandaVision after that.
True.
It'd be fine. I think.
And it'll still be earlier than we said it.
Yeah. So, oh boy. The other thing that's really hampering me right now is I don't know about you guys where you are in the rest of the world, but here, Giaconetti lives here. He lives in the same town I do, actually. So we got dumped on with snow a couple of times already. So I'm like feeling it. I'm like starting to draw, and my arm's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?" I'm feeling that, and you're holding that heavy thing. Is that thing heavy?
This one, no, this is foam filled. This is a latex mask that's got foam in it. Here. We're going to hear it.
Sounds like my head.
Yeah. But normally the heads, if the bigger the heads are, they're hollow cast resin. But some of the bigger ones, some of the ones that are more solid, I'm trying to see here. I'll give you an example. Holy cow. This thing. Okay. I'll hold it up down here. Okay. This is a piece I'm working on. Is that a
Godzilla?
No, it's an orangutan.
Oh,
right.
We pronounce that orangutan.
Orangutan. That orangutans around here. This thing got away a good 70 pounds. This is solid cast resin. And this thing, if you dropped it on your foot, would hurt.
I was gonna say, you ever drop those things while you're working on them?
Yes.
And you're barefoot too, but most people work on them on a table and stuff like that, and you don't.
I don't. I work on them here. I'm been told over and over again I work incorrectly on pieces. I hold things in my lap. I paint with my airbrush in my lap. It's just way I learned. I learned by painting that way.
There is no wrong way if it's right to you.
Well, it's the problem is you don't get as good an angle at the piece you're looking at. It's harder to do certain things. And I said, well, no, but that's how I learned. So I can't set it up in front of me. Like we were in class and they set up the pieces in front of us, and I'm trying to paint at the piece, even with my airbrush, and I'm like, this is wrong. So I literally took the 1-to-1 scale head of the Gill-Man from Monster Squad, and I mean that thing was humongous. That's like twice the size of a human head, because whatever. And I'm holding it in my lap, and Steve Wang, who sculpted the original, came in. For those, Steve Wang, who worked on the Predator, he's part of Stan Winston Studios and stuff like that. That's Stingray. He comes in and he goes, what did it fall off? Did you have a problem with that? I go, no, sorry, Mr. Wang, this is how I work. And he goes, oh, it's fine, dude. You can work how you want. Everyone's like, yeah, but isn't it hard to paint that way? They go, that's how he paints. Now, I mean, the paint's on my hands. It's on whatever. I mean, I get filthy, but it's like I needed to look. I need to be able to look at it in a certain way, and it's just
No,
not how I.
You tell people when it's on you, when it gets all over you like that. You just tell people you're really into it. That's what you tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
So
Right.
I don't know. People don't buy it. I look at it this way: is it's just like doing anything else. It doesn't matter if we're teaching school or if we're painting or we're doing whatever you're doing. How you learn how to do something, and if that's how you feel comfortable and you're successful doing it, then that's the best part of it. But some people don't always buy that. They want you to do it their way. You and I both know that on a daily basis. We hear that from people that you're not doing this right. And I'm like,
no idea what you're talking about.
No, never. No, never in a school setting does anyone ever say you're doing it wrong. I don't know. Anyway, so
all right.
are we talking WandaVision here?
I think so. Anybody out there got something to say before we even start?
Yeah, Stuart Greenberg says, I got the Wonder Twins up early to watch WandaVision over breakfast.
Ooh, all right.
Nice.
So let's get into this and talk about this, because last week they left us in a pretty lofty high cliff and then pulled the ladder away and then just left it there because we had Pietro come back. Spoilers. And then this week he's all integrated into the family and stuff.
Yeah.
He's just there. He's like the Did they do a Malcolm in the Middle opening?
Yes. It was the Malcolm in the Middle opening.
It was, right?
Yeah. Well, and even during the episode, it's Malcolm in the Middle when he turns to talk to the camera and stuff.
Right,
so it's funny because Haley goes, "Oh, this is like Stuck in the Middle." I go, "Honey, Stuck in the Middle is a show that's doing these things because Malcolm in the Middle did it first." But yeah, it was very Malcolm in the Middle.
All right.
So, but
and then and then Vision is just like, he's not having any of this stuff, so he just goes off on his own. And things are not happy in the WandaVision household, are they, Wayne?
Oh God, no, not at all. He's definitely rebelling against whatever's happening. And I think what's even creepier is when he's talking to Agnes, who looks a lot like Agatha now, Harkness, dressed up as the witch.
Right.
She's going, "You're an Avenger," and he's going, "What's an Avenger?"
Mm-hmm. He doesn't know
that you're dead. And that you're dead.
But also,
yeah.
But also, she seemed to know things. Agnes seemed to know things in the episodes prior, because we were given those clues. But here, she was looking to leave. She was looking to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So one of the things, because I was talking with this the other day with a couple of my students, actually, part of the thing with Agnes is that she seems to have more knowledge than everybody else. At least up to before this episode, I should say. She seemed to have more knowledge than other people. And she talks about Ralph all the time, but we've never seen Ralph. So
Ralph Digby from the DC Universe?
No, yes, the guy from DC shockingly didn't show up in the Marvels thing. But she talks about her husband Ralph and makes fun of her husband Ralph. And the thought is Ralph supposed to be like Mephisto? Is that who's controlling these things? Is that what's supposed to be happening?
But also Herb knows what's going on too, because when he was cutting through the hedges and then into the fence, and even today when he was talking to Wanda,
he was like, "You need me to change anything?" Or right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, but I'm saying but today was the first time that he's mentioned changing things. But he seems to have more knowledge. But in the last episode, Agnes had like, "Do you want to do that again? Do we have to roll it back? Like, we can do this." And it started seeming like she was somehow in on everything, and that's where some of that mindset comes from. Maybe Ralph, her husband, who we never see, is the one who's really kind of controlling things. I don't think that's on point, but that's just one of the ideas that like maybe there's some other thing that's amplifying Wanda's abilities. I mean, to be honest, in the movies, Wanda is, she does what she's going to do in there and whatever, but she never quite taps into that like crazy power that she could find. And now she somehow has got that power going for her that we didn't have before in the previous, and like in Age of Ultron or, in any of the actual films. So
it's like she's adopted her Omega level powers from the comics.
Yes.
Where she's an Omega level mutant.
Yeah. But, and what's funny is, if you think about it, it's kind of the same, like when Jean Grey becomes the Phoenix, like how she's, how Jean Grey gets so powerful and then becomes like, she takes in that and she allows the Phoenix to come out. It has a lot of echoes and feelings of that too. Like we heard there's something else that now is allowing her to go beyond just being the Wanda we've seen before. Like maybe she's truly becoming the Scarlet Witch. Maybe she's really becoming that next level.
The other thing you can look to is the commercial where it talks about the magic.
Yeah.
Yo, magic.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, is someone siphoning off her powers?
Yeah.
They're boosting her up, but someone's siphoning her off.
Now I have a theory, and I could be totally wrong, but I want people to chime in. Do the commercials have anything to do with the Infinity Gauntlet, the stones? Does each one represent a different stone? Maybe because this one didn't really have any commercial or any message in the commercial, but just a passage of time, and then the kid died on the island.
Because he was trying to open up Yo Magic.
Yeah.
That yogurt container.
Yeah. So he's trying to tap into the magic. I think that's what they're trying to go for. He's trying to get into whatever stone that's supposed to represent. If that's what, we talk about like as one of the stones, is he's trying to get into it, and that he winds up eventually dying and then becoming rotting because he can never get in there.
Well, we have Andy Price saying, I'd have given $5 to see. I'd have given $5 to see them do a Married with Children. Stuart Greenberg said,
that would have been great with the Buckingham Palace. Yeah. Or the fountain, the Buckingham fountain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuart Greenberg. Herb was reporting on what Petro was doing as they were doing them.
Yeah.
D. Brad, when her boys were getting candy, one of the boys says kick ass. Then Wanda says kick ass as a question, but it sounds familiar to her.
Well, because both of the silver
both of the actors were in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, they're both from Kick-Ass. Yeah. So,
but that's my other question now, because they brought in this other Pietro, and he's dead because he had the bullet wounds, but he's not dead because he's from the other Fox universe. But then also, he seems to know everything that's going on. But then it's almost as if he was inhabiting the other's mind and body type thing. But he just had the new face because he had the old brothers.
He had the old memories of dying in Age of Ultron.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what the idea though is if they're going to truly tie this all to the multiverse idea, or Wanda is creating the multiverse by her pushing the boundaries and pushing everything, eventually creates a multiverse. If that's however they're going to want to go with this, is it that in whatever universe they want to call the Fox universe, right? Did he also get killed in that timeline and she brought him here? Is it, is she bringing things? Because she says she can't bring anyone back from the dead. And then, of course the question is, well, isn't she bringing Vision back? Well, Vision's not a person, he's a machine. So maybe there's that possibility. Or is it just an illusion? I don't know. I would love to see them, to be honest with you. I would love to see everything start tying together where literally the X-Men movies, the ones like the Age of Apocalypse and all those things like that, if they became canon, but just literally somewhere else. And then when you start getting into Doctor Strange, you start bringing those realities together. And this could be the forebearer of that. It could be showing us that they could be bringing these things together, opening up the multiverse to kind of really exist, Well,
I have a really strong suspicion, and that Doctor Strange is going to show up because I think he was in one of those cast things.
Yep.
Film is the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that has something that's going to be happening.
And that's supposed to be next year, 2022 for that. So there's a Spider-Man movie in between, I think. And then you're going to get, although I can't imagine that the Falcon and Winter Soldier series is going to have a ton of tie-ins to this. I mean, I'm not saying it won't, but I can't imagine it's going to be as in-depth as this. That's going to tie into whatever the other next film they're going to want to tie that back into, So.
All right. We have Andy Price saying, He's much closer. Quicksilver's much closer to the comic personality. He's much more of an arrogant smartass. I believe your lovely wife has chimed in. Kelly Thompson?
No, Kelly J. Yeah, Kelly J. Haley.
Yeah. Haley said Wanda can't bring anyone back from the dead, but can recast them. And then Andy went into, he's been heavily teased to show up. Doctor Strange.
Oh,
Franco, we lost your drawing.
He's
I think we lost Franco. Okay. Well, we can continue.
So this is catching up with Franco without Franco. This is
no. He's there. He's in the ether.
I know. I'm just
look. This was me This was me the last couple of episodes until I hardwired into the modem of Doom.
Oh, we're back! Yay!
Oh, yeah, you're back.
I gotta get back into this.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's all your fault.
Yeah, no. I was saying your goddaughter was chiming in with her theory. You know.
Oh man, really? What was her theory?
Haley said Wanda can't bring anyone back from the dead, but can recast them.
So they're not the same person, but she can pull in another version of them from somewhere else.
And I think that can tie into the whole multiverse. Yeah. So they're embracing.
I love Haley and I love her opinions, but she may be wrong because I'm thinking, not that I would ever disagree, but I'm thinking, Vision hasn't been recast and he was brought back, but is it because maybe she's right because
no, because the Vision never appeared in the Fox universe.
Or also too, he's not human. Like she can't bring someone back from the dead. Well, he might be dead, but it's ultimately a machine at its core, kind of thing. So, right. I mean, it'll be interesting is if you start thinking about people who have appeared in both. Like, it's okay. So, in theory, if you were, and I don't remember the actress's name who played Jean Grey in the newest Fox ones, right? And then she became Phoenix.
Her name is Sansa Stark.
Okay, so if let's say she showed up as Jean Grey, whatever.
What? That's her name. Come on.
Okay. It's gonna be one of those nights.
Sophie.
Well, the idea is though, but if they brought her in as, let's say, as Jean Grey, right? Just into the regular MCU, and people would say, well, okay, well, she's from the Fox universe, but then literally have Famjanski show up as Jean Grey, and I say you could have both in there. This is where Doctor Strange kind of can start getting the universes start going apart, and literally you could have Phoenix there twice.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I just like calling her Sansa Stark. But and I do like me some Famke. Yeah, Famke. Yeah. We got Famke at the beginning of the show that we're talking about, and later we're going to talk about Verma. We'll get to her later.
Verma.
Formica. Formica. Yeah.
Formoca. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, Kelly's still chiming in. She's going, no way, man. But Haley said he's not human. Get that in your head, Franco.
See, Frank only gets this a little bit. I get this 24 hours a day. It's nonstop around here. The 10-year-old who's like, I know this stuff.
Oh. And Andy's chiming in too. Vision isn't dead, just deactivated.
Oh.
He's not dead. He's just pining.
But why did he appear dead then? Because she saw the Marvel zombie universe there for a second with him.
Yeah.
And then she did the same thing with Quicksilver.
With Pietro. Yeah. There's a crazy internet thing. Now, remember when Kat Dennings' character Darcy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she cracks the laptop of Doom into the guy's hidden files. The file folder's called Cataract, and that clouds the eyes.
Oh.
What could that mean? Cataract.
I think it means that we're looking at every little thing that we're looking at. We think it means something. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think we're at that now.
But isn't that part of the thing though with the Marvel, like the whole MCU in itself? It's designed so the casual fan can just kind of watch the movies and just enjoy them as popcorn movies, and there's nothing more to it. You just kind of keep going. But it's also so deep that people have to they're digging through, and every single thing is a this and a that, and it's gotten to the point where no matter what it is, a street sign, you know, a mailbox, the flag is up, but now the flag is down, or whatever, things like that. Everything means something.
Right.
And it's
well,
like,
case in point, let's ask Wayne, Ellis Avenue. What does that mean? Does that mean Ellis Island? Does it mean Steve Ellis? What does it mean?
Does it mean Perry Ellis is a clothing line?
Ooh.
They make a nice belt. That's all I can say is that I've had Perry Ellis's belts and they lasted a good long time.
There you go. See, fashion tips. You didn't think you'd get that here tonight.
Yeah.
Especially the way we're dressed. But
that's right, with this crew.
There you go. It's happened now. How's my Gojira? Is he all right? He was all right. He's looking like an upside down Gojira. So I'm crushing on Catherine Hahn big time.
Oh,
I like her a lot. But there's something still screwy with that, because I know that she's being held hostage, and she said, you know, help us, because, like, you know. But she tried to leave. There's something about her trying to leave that's just.
Well, Wanda doesn't have full control, because we've seen the people on the outer rim just sort of standing there.
Right.
And the one woman that was trying to hang up the ghost, and she was
glitchy.
crying.
She's
not just glitchy,
crying,
but she was crying.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying.
Going down. Yeah.
Well, they've established that everybody's in pain, so yeah.
Right. But it's also, as the further Vision got away from Wanda, the less people were able to do. So they were kind of glitching, like they were kind of stuck. And then as you get further away, they froze. And
but it doesn't.
So
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. So it's like as if they're getting so far away that her control, you know, she only has so much control of them. And since she now had to create all the children, remember, there's been no children the entire time except for her two kids. They talk about for the children, but there's never been a child anywhere. Now that as she gets further away, as they get further away, now she's controlling all these children, that it's just taking a lot more of her concentration away. So she's not able to make everything run. So things just kind of slow down and then eventually come to a stop.
Now, the children is exactly like what Pietro said. Hey, makes sense to bring him in on a very special Halloween episode to have kids for the first time.
Yeah.
Because kids have not appeared in the entire show until the Vision brought up Wanda. I walk to work every day by the park. There are no children in the park.
But now the question begs, when Vision goes out beyond the breach, he starts falling apart. He's like disappearing, almost like it looks like he's being pulled back into that wall or into Westview, but he's being torn apart. So it makes me question whether he's actually alive there or not. You know what I mean?
Oh, I took it to mean that Wanda is holding on to him so tightly. She's so desperate to keep him that literally the whole thing is created to make a world so she can be happy with him, and that the world's trying to keep him in it to keep balance. You know, that's at least, I mean, that's how I read it.
But if that were true, wouldn't she know that he was trying to breach the perimeter?
But I'm saying, but she's distracted, right? She's distracted at this point, and he's able to kind of, you know, she doesn't want to control him fully, but she's distracted with everything going on, and it's not until was it Billy feels something, hears him, and he starts, Mom, and she comes like, what? And then as soon as she snaps into it, she just starts expanding, like she takes over again, and their eyes go red, and bam, everything starts happening, you know? So.
Yeah, but Wanda's more distracted because of Pietro coming back from the dead. And that's totally through her.
Yeah, so
especially since they don't have access anymore.
Well, he says I got gunned down in the street, and then until you called me, I was just nowhere. And it's like, okay, so he's saying he was dead, but then she brought him there. Or is he saying I have the memories of this world's Quicksilver, but you pulled me out of my world to here? Because I don't remember him getting killed in the Fox movies.
No, he's not killed in the Fox, because he was rebuilding the mansion for the umpteenth time, as Deadpool would say.
Maybe,
right.
Because then maybe she can't bring back the dead. She can only bring back the living, and she just swapped out his memories because he's alive somewhere out there. She can't bring back. You know, the other thing that on me too was they showed a clip of the Ultron movie when with
Mhm.
her real Pietro clip. So that was like jarring to see that. Oh, it was different.
Well, Stuart says Agni could be Agnetha Harkness, adversary to Wanda with multiple personalities grafted on her.
Yeah. I don't know that they would do that like right at the beginning though, like that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you gotta see. The thing is, Franco knows this. I'm not a huge comic book guy, like kind of thing. So like, I don't know all this insane backstories and things like that.
Oh,
So
just ask
when
Kane, he knows everything.
yeah, but I'm saying, but that's not me. Like, I'm not that huge comic book guy, at least not on these things, kind of thing, right? Like, I never read X-Men. I wasn't an Avengers guy. I mean, Punisher, we could talk, but kind of thing. But it's not a lot of this. So like, all these other characters and stuff, if they're not main players, it's kind of outside of the scope of what I kind of know. All right.
Oh, come on, Agnetha. She was there for the birth of Reed Richards' son.
Okay, so we're talking Fantastic Four. I've read about 3 of those in my entire life, and I think all of them are what ifs. I'm just saying. So,
no.
I'm not a comic book guy. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, and we've Franco knows this. We're talking about like, I mean, I read a lot of Dark Horse, like things like that, and I read a lot of EC comics and things like that.
Oh,
and then
in
those things, sure, you want to talk about zombies and dead things and whatever, but but the thing is, you got to remember, like, I think sometimes when if you're into things, like, you're really, kind of thing, we look for things deeper. When I'm watching, like when we talk about Godzilla and stuff, like, I look for things that have more meaning than they probably do, and then they're like, oh yeah. I mean, I understand the MCU is super deep like that, but they're trying to make sure that they hook people here, and they have to put stuff in for everybody, but I don't know how deep some of this stuff goes necessarily.
How many rabbit holes we can go down?
Right, because I think you're going to lose the average viewer. I mean, I know some people were adamant they did not.
But yeah,
I'm just saying. I know some people did not like the first 3 episodes. I loved the first 3 episodes because it was so different, right? Kind of thing. And some people who have never watched like a lot of Marvel stuff are like, this is weird. Oh, I'm intrigued because this is not what I thought it would be. Oh, and then the next week it's it's 10 years later, and then it's the 70s, then it's whatever. Like, this is the 90s right now. There's people who kind of don't know the in-depth of stuff and just are intrigued by, this is weird, this is different,
Right.
And also to echo your point, Jason, Stuart brings up a good comment. They showed the MCU Pietro for the audience who have not seen the movies to indicate the Fox Pietro is different. Not everybody watches everything like us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Not everyone's that level of nerd. That's what that's going for.
Well, no. You don't know Agatha's background with the Salem 7, her children.
But that's just the thing. You don't have to know.
No.
Yeah.
We could be guessing at it, but they could be bringing it up later. They can introduce all that stuff later when it's revealed to everybody. Be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know she was this, or she could do that, or whatever.
Oh, it'd be hilarious if they do bring in the Salem 7.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know who the Salem 7 is, but if Paste Pot Pete is in there, I'm all for it.
No. He's not. No, Pete's part of the Frightful 4.
Yeah.
Not the Salem 7.
I'm one of the guys. Yeah, I'm one of the guys who thought they would never make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but
yeah,
right. But so
let alone more than one.
Right. They can bring those guys back. It'll work. They can make anything work.
I mean, let's face it. We all saw the original Howard the Duck. That Howard the Duck still exists anywhere is amazing.
Whoa, I liked Howard the Duck. It was funny.
I don't know about that, Wayne.
Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, even if they're wrong. So,
Leia Thompson needed to go back to the future again to get out of that.
It's Jerry Seinfeld always said, he goes, he don't want to make a movie because he felt like, if you're if you watch a bad movie, it's 2 hours. If you're in a bad movie, it's 2 years. He goes, I just would feel bad if I turn to the camera and goes, yeah, this sucks, right? Like, this is horrible. I felt like at one point, Leah Thompson goes, I'm sorry. Like, just run, kind of thing. All I know, though, I mean, I saw it in the theaters. I was a little kid. We saw it in the theaters. And you guys remember in the like the lobby of the theaters, they would have the giant egg and it says Howard the Duck's coming. And I'm like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And you get there, you're like, oh, what a punch in the gut, kind of thing.
I know. I was strangely attracted to a duck for the first time in my life, and I don't know why. Oh, okay. We won't go there.
You got to work through that in therapy. So,
man. All right. What else on WandaVision? Anything else?
So I don't know. Did you guys ever watch Two Broke Girls? Because that's what's her name, right? So every time she talks, I'm just like, man, I just think of her in Two Broke Girls. Like then, because she was she's the one who was working in the diner first and whatever, and she's so not a smartass on this show. Like, I mean, like on Two Broke Girls, she's really like, like very
quick-witted.
Here she just like, I mean, she's smart and she's clearly much smarter than the other people, but she's just like, but she's not like that coming at you kind of thing. And I was like, man, I would love to see her just kind of start coming at it. And then what happens? She gets handcuffed to the front of the Jeep and she's like, come on. And I'm like, oh, there it is. There it is right there. I see it. Right. I wonder what her role is going to be in the expanded universe.
Yeah.
But she's more of a smartass in the Thor movies.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Where she calls Mjolnir Mew Mew.
Yeah.
Right.
So, is it me or would anyone else like to actually see what's the agent? Now I forgot the agent's name, the FBI agent there.
Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo. I would like to see a Jimmy Woo show where it's like X-Files. Just kind of like him
someone
going
brought that
around
up online. Yeah. Right, with her and with him and Kat Dennings as the two.
That'd be funny. And here's the one I think would be even the better movie. You know the guy? Oh, I forgot. I'm really bad names. In Ant-Man, the guy's friend who's like, "Yo, let me tell you what's happening." They should do an entire movie.
Michael Pena,
Pena, right? Do an entire movie of Michael Pena just telling you the entire movie and show it all in flashback. Yo, let me tell you what happened. And then this guy showed up. Yo, I don't know. And it's all shown in flashback. That would be the best movie ever. It would piss off like 90% of the people watching it, but the rest of us would be laughing so hard we'd miss the entire film. Like you'd be like, so then Storr showed up. Yo, catch it on this, man.
Well, they definitely hinted about Photon with Maria.
Right.
Yeah.
And we still don't know her mysterious helper guy, because then she was going off to meet him.
Yeah.
That was going to get her back in.
I would love it as Michael Pena.
It's not Tony.
Yo, let me help you.
I can't see it being Scott. Because Scott's more no.
I think they would.
If it's Reed, it'd be perfect. The perfect way to introduce the FF.
I said that to my son as we were watching it. I said, "Could she be going to meet her friend Reed Richards?"
So the question though is, if they're going to do that, they're going to have to cast a different Reed Richards, right? Kind of thing. You're going to have to cast someone as Reed Richards because you're not going to take the man. I just can't. I'm trying to remember who played him in
which one.
I'm saying is like the one that like when they had Silver Surfer and stuff like that. That's
Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. Yeah. I'm not saying he's bad as Reed Richards, but then that would have to make that the canon. So do they cast another Reed Richards?
They can. It's a multiverse.
No, right. But I'm saying, but you cast another one, and then something happened there, and then Wanda changes them to the other one. Like that could totally be where it's like, no, I don't like this one, and just swipe the hand like you're swiping left or swiping right, and the next one shows up. Like what the kind of thing. I just think it'd be really funny. At some point, they got to have Deadpool come to face with Deadpool, because when.
But they've already done that. They did the Deadpool from the Wolverine movies, Wolverine Origins versus the other Ryan Reynolds Deadpool.
Yeah, but I'm saying, they got to. I just wanted to come face to face, be like, oh, not this guy again. Kind of thing.
Well, because he can't die, so they can bring him back again.
Bring him back and back and back.
Well, we got 2 comments from Stuart. For you, Franco, are you talking about the lady duck in the bathroom?
No,
I'm
talking about Howard. Yeah.
And he would love to see a Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis X-Files show.
Yeah. I just think it'd be funny as heck.
Yeah. D. Brad, Lucasfilm's Howard the Duck could show up now. There's a multiverse on the way, probably a cameo. And since the Lucasfilm's Howard the Duck, wasn't it kind of the same duck that was in Guardians?
No, it was different.
No,
he
no.
looked totally
Was it different?
different. Yeah, he looked totally different. The one from Guardians looked like the one from the
book.
comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the hat and the cigar and the.
You know what would be cool, but probably won't happen. But since all of this is becoming integrated, the TV series with the movies, because they're all the same thing, as it were. If Monica Rambeau winds up going to meet her friend who she knows would do so, it wouldn't be someone as high profile as Reed Richards, although it would be. And if it was, wouldn't it be cool if they had somebody like, I know the fan casting out there, and I don't disagree with it, is John Krasinski as Reed Richards, the movie. What if they had whoever's going to play him in the movie, because they've already announced it, show up in this series? It would blow
there'd be no reason not to.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about each episode is the average. They're talking about the budget being about $25 million per episode for a 30-minute kind of. This makes it one of the highest.
WandaVision?
Yeah, that's what they were talking about. Each episode is insane. The amount. This is costing a movie. This is going to cost them a movie to make, basically, right? So if you're going to do that anyway, you pull out all the stops. You go get whoever. You go. You need Wolverine, you get Hugh Jackman. If you need whatever, you go get him. You just go do it, because a 10-second cameo means a ton to your universe, but won't cost you. It's not like you're booking them for 2 years, whatever. They come in, and they film their thing, and they're out. And that would allow the repercussions of that are greater than the amount of money you're going to spend to do it.
And Jackman said he wants to come back.
I would love Hugh Jackman to come back as Wolverine. He can be Wolverine forever.
Before I get to D. Brad's comment, now, did you guys watch the Bucky Winter Soldier trailer?
Yes.
Now, wouldn't it be cool if Baron Zemo was behind everything?
Oh, so you're talking about maybe having all of the TV series linked?
Not all the TVs, just just if you're looking for a bad guy that's not Mephisto, wouldn't it be something? You have Zemo, who hates any type of superhero. Did he figure out a way to manipulate the Scarlet Witch?
Yeah.
And have them all go against each other? Because
it could work.
See him walking with and the great shot, they show the walking him. You see him walking with the hood as he's walking along. So who knows? Maybe Zemo. But getting to D. Brad, he said he'd love to see. He thinks that Monica Rambeau would be great in an X-Files type show.
Yeah.
So they bring Monica in just as the two of them are doing their thing, and she comes in just to fix it. All right, fine, let me just fix this. Okay, and we're done. Good, I can go home now.
Well, if they bring in Monica, then they'd have to bring back Phoebe and Jennifer Aniston. I forgot her character name. It would have been a better joke if I remember. It would have been better off if I remembered all.
Rachel. It's Rachel.
Rachel. Damn it! I forgot Rachel.
I literally hate the show Friends, but I know those things that just burden in your skull.
Okay.
Well, I know them too, but her name just dropped out of my head for a second.
It's okay.
Damn it! Yeah.
Okay. Andy came up with a really good cameo opportunity that these guys should really listen to this. They should be listening to Andy Price. While the Fox Pietro showing up blew me away. If you really want to truly impress me, bring back Nicholas Hammond with all the Spider-Mans that are returning, even if it's just for a simple cameo.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and Stuart says, my daughter Dina brought up Zemo as the big bad weeks ago.
I tell you two things. I love that we're able to talk about it every week, because there's new things to talk about all the time, which I love. But do you think that people who are not that into this are talking about this stuff at all?
No.
No.
My wife
I don't think so.
Every week, and then she doesn't want to talk about it again afterwards. She's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family still hasn't watched it yet. And they love the movies. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I truly appreciate is the fact that it's not all released at one time, and that it makes people wait that week. To me, that's one of the best parts of it, because nowadays people don't understand appointment television. People don't understand that if you weren't there when it happened or you didn't record it, you couldn't see things, and they had to wait the next week to see what happens.
Not only that, but how busy are we in our day-to-day schedules? I can't sit and drop 8 hours watching a dump of like 8 or 9 episodes all at one time. I can't do it.
Right, but I'm saying is, but some people do. You know as well as I do that as soon as like whatever comes out, like Mandalorian, and someone's like, I've already watched it. Like it's 12:01. You couldn't have watched it already. It's impossible. But they want to be first, and that's that desire to be first. But now, because everyone has to kind of wait week to week, and again, not that you couldn't watch the episode before everyone else, but you can't have seen all of it yet. Like no one can say, well, I know how it ends. Like you can have a theory how it ends, but no one's going to know how it ends until 3 more episodes from now.
Well, how many times? Right. How many times do we show up bleary-eyed to work the next morning because we went to go watch, Star Wars at midnight because we knew the next day in class kids would tell me, Darth Vader is Luke's father, and I'm like, what? So I had to go see it that night.
Yeah, you catch the first showing of Star Wars, then you go out for breakfast, then you go into work.
Well, we're not talking from experience or anything. We're literally the two of us who don't like a whole lot of people around us are crammed into like it was you, me, Mark, Nikki, and the guy from Archie Comics. I forgot his name.
Mike Alrita.
Mike. Yeah, we're literally. I mean, we're none of us. Nikki's the small one in the group, and Nikki's a big kid now, right? Kind of thing, right? We're all shoulder to shoulder, just packed into this theater, and I'm like, we got to see this because the kid. And what happens? We go outside, we see like 10 of our kids.
Yep.
And I'm like, they would ruin it tomorrow, and I don't care. I can be honest with you, I really don't care if I know how something's going to end. No, I know you do. I 100% don't ever care if I know something's going to end or something's going to whatever, but it's because to me it doesn't matter. It's the journey and whatever has to happen. Okay, fine, but I'm okay knowing the ending. But I know that really bothers some people, especially for things like Star Wars and stuff like that. Again, not a huge Star Wars guy, but
okay. I was standing in line for Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. This car drives by, the lineup goes, Kirk has a son! Kirk has a son!
Yeah.
And you're going,
That's when you go find that guy and flatten his tires.
See, okay, but I used to do that too, to be honest with you. When I was teaching 8th grade, I used to do that, but I would tell the kids the wrong ending, right? So they were reading Of Mice and Men. I was like, oh my God, Of Mice and Men's a great book. And wherever I go, do you get to the dinosaur fight yet? They go, dinosaur fight? I go, yeah, at the end. Down by the river, the plesiosaur comes out of the water, and there's a huge dinosaur. Dude, it's one of the most epic ending ever. And they were like, no. And I'm like, I'm telling you, yeah. They all went home and read it, come back Monday, they were pissed. Right? And I was like, So the thing was, then that was like, then they started reading The Outsiders, and I kind of like, well, it's about, this and this, and they go, no, it's not. I go, and they went home and it was, and they go, oh, you were right. I go, yeah, I just mixed up, Jurassic Park with Of Mice and Men. I said, but don't worry, you're reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and that's going to have the best. I said, I cannot wait for the gunfight at the end. They go, there's a gunfight? I go, it's all about like racism and stuff in the South. I go, it's going to be a giant gunfight. They're like, it is? I'm like, yeah. They went home over spring break.
Spoilers to everything tonight.
Right, they went home over spring break. They came back and they wanted blood. They were furious at me, but they all read their books, which is really all I was trying to accomplish because they weren't reading anything. 8th graders know so much,
Yep.
So
getting back to the cameo comments, D. Brad thinks that the Japanese Spider-Man would be cool too if you're going to bring in all the Spider-Man. Bring in the Japanese Spider-Man too.
Hit the camera. I was doing my Japanese Spider-Man.
Andy Price agrees with the idea of it's great having it week by week so that you can digest the episode so that you're not just sort of eating all of it in one bite.
But isn't that the same like back in the when comic books, you'd have you wait month to month and you were in the middle of a series, you're like, oh, I gotta wait to see how this is gonna turn out, right? Like when with Watchmen or Infinity War, and you were reading week to week to week to week. And or not week to week, but month to month. Right, yeah. And it was like building the anticipation. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love getting a trade as all together, so I don't have to have a bunch of books. But I remember, what was it? Blackest Night. What was the one where with all the Death Lanterns and stuff?
Blackest Night.
Mm-hmm. Blackest Night. That to me was like, or even if Countdown or 52, mean, I was reading just the main books at that point. I was like, this is, I want to know what's going to happen. Like, I really want to know how it's going to turn out. And it turned out exactly as I thought it was going to, but it was like, oh, okay. But like, I look forward to the next issue and the next issue, the next issue, because you could read it, take it in. Okay. And then the next issue would come. And I guess that'd be better if I was reading more comics in between, but I was reading one comic and then waiting a month for another comic. Yep. But that's exactly why episodic television exists the way it does. And I think people kind of forgotten that episodic television can exist like that.
Did you guys ever go to, like, after we did this with Twin Peaks, where when we go in to pick up our books at the comic book shop, we'd start to dissect Twin Peaks, trying to figure out who killed Laura.
I didn't watch Twin Peaks, so I don't know.
Twin Peaks was just way too strange for me. I know David Lynch is like, oh God, among all, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
there was a lot of stuff happening, and I couldn't dissect it. I remember we would watch Lost and talk about that every week.
Yeah, I gave up on Lost pretty quick.
But yeah, like third or fourth season into Lost, I'm like, these guys don't know what they're doing. And then, you know, I'm like, I got to drop out because I don't know what's going on here. And then a couple of years later, I read an interview saying that, yeah, they were just making it up as they went along. They didn't really know what the ending was going to be. I'm like, how could you do that? How could you not know what the ending is and be writing this thing?
So that's what's called shotgun booking. In wrestling, when you hotshot a territory and shotgun book it, you have no idea where you're going with the story, but you know you got something hot and we got to keep it going. So you have no idea who's getting the belt at the end. So you just kind of bounce it around and do all these things. And what happens is when you look back, it all looks like a mess. I.e., the middle seasons of Lost. So thank you, that's WCW booking right there. We'll hot shot and shotgun it the whole way through, and we can do. So
well, Greg Burke seems to agree with me. Are you saying WandaVision is the Twin Peaks of Marvel? I like it.
So that's where you were going with that?
That's where I was going with that.
I still think that those first couple episodes could have been condensed into one episode. You know, I'm starting to read articles out there, and some people have written to me like, "Oh, you're wrong. You don't know how to watch TV anymore." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I know exactly how to watch TV." And those first episodes could have been combined into one. That's how I know how it should have been. You disagree? You like the taste the way it was?
I liked them. I thought it was just because it was different. You know, but I mean, but also you got to remember though too is like I look at when I'm looking at watching sit down, they were only half an hour. If they were an hour a piece, oh my God, they would have been in trouble.
Oh, that would have been.
But I'm saying at half an hour, it was like in and
out. That's what I mean. If you say they're an hour a piece, but I say they were half hour, 45 minutes each, but they were 3 episodes of that, where they could have been not 3 episodes of that.
They could have streamlined it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying this. I mean, but when you watch them, because we're the first episode, everything's just weird. You're like, okay, what's going on? But then the second episode, because it jumps the time, I think you needed to see it jump from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s. And people started, again, I think what they were doing was allowing people to start forming their own opinions of, well, what's going on? Like they start the little, you know, like the we would say the water cooler gossip, you know, kind of thing. Like, what do you think this is? And it made the buzz on the show so much greater that then when episode 4 comes, people are like, well, I don't know, these first 3 were weird. And episode 4 hits you and you're like, whoa, dude, you gave up after 2? Go back and watch 3 and then watch this one. They want people to have that, oh, dude, you got to catch this. You know, your ratings are always the best after your hot episode. So if you...
Yeah, I agree with that. But, you know, my argument the other week to Wayne and our guest the other week was that if this was on a regular network TV and we didn't have streaming and we didn't have cable, this would have been dropped after the second episode. They would have banished it to like, you know, Saturday night at 10 o'clock or showed the rest of the episodes after the news or something like that. And they would have shown them out of order. And then you'd be all confused what's going on type thing, you know?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, if they were showing this on regular television and that was the thing, I don't think they would have done it this way. I think they know full well that they have you. You know, they have the viewership. There's always going to be people who are going to watch this, no matter what they put out there. There's going to be people who want to watch it because it's Marvel, because it's the MCU, all that stuff. I don't know. I put it this way: we're enjoying it. Friday afternoons. You and I know as we're walking out the door today talking. I went home. You know, I grabbed pizza on the way home. I got home, grabbed a shower, and then we were like, let's eat pizza and watch WandaVision. And as a family, we sit down and get to watch this stuff. and it's nice because I can watch it with Haley and Kelly, and to be honest, that I mean, there's questions when we're done, we're still talking about it. When we're kind of talking about it during the week. It's like this is what they want. They want people talking about their product. If you're talking about their product, that's good. I mean, there's an old saying, controversy creates cash. You want people talking about it. Like, oh no, I think you're wrong. I think you're full of crap that this. I think
absolutely.
it's this person. They want that. Marvel can't buy that. Or DC, not DC, good Lord. Disney cannot buy people talking about a show. They can put as much money as they want in the screen, but if you don't talk about it and it goes away, it's useless. They want you talking about it though.
They want the word of mouth.
But
exactly.
Word of mouth is what gives it legs.
All in all, though, it's good. That's what it's got to come down to for me, because if you waste all this time and it's not good, you're like, oh. But the story's good. It's intriguing. I want to come back. I have all these theories. All of them are going to be wrong, which is fine. But as long as it's good, I'm enjoying myself.
And Greg Burke agrees with you, Franco, with your assessment dealing with the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he says he feels like 1 hour is too long. It's a huge investment in time, especially if you don't quite hit the mark, you lose viewers.
Yep.
I'm just saying I thought that making them 29 minutes, the first couple were like 29 minutes or whatever they were, making it that length meant that people weren't going to, it confused you just enough that you weren't lost, but you were like, what did we just watch? And you start talking about it. I think they were trying to make sure people were talking, and nothing else looks like it. There's no other series that looks like it. And if nothing else looks like it, you think you've accomplished your job. You've got something that looks different, so.
Right.
Oh,
but anyway.
Moving on to a different part of the WandaVision. No. Someone brought up Sean McNary. How great were the Halloween costumes? And I love watching the mystery unfold. It's creepy and I love it. I love the Halloween costumes. I was talking to Franco earlier. I just said, I didn't realize all it took was a yellow boxer shorts, and I could have been the Vision too.
Right.
Like the colors were perfect. Everything was perfect. And you're looking and going, it's exactly like the comic book when the Vision first started and the Scarlet Witch. And you're just looking, and they look so hokey.
But I love that. I love that their costumes are so good. Like Vision when he's in his Vision like form, but when he's in this Halloween costume, when he turned to the side, when he was looking, I think at the woman putting up the ghost, and she was like, going back and forth with the tear. When he turned around, you see the soul gem on the costume. You see it flapped up, and like you can see his forehead and everything. I love stuff like that. I mean, like this costume is so hokey. It was homemade. I love it.
Yeah.
And like the chest too. Like it was like the fake chest muscles.
Mm-hmm.
That was just out there. Sean loves Quicksilver's hair. The way it sort of was like flopping up, like trying to give you the silver tips that Pietro has.
I loved it.
Yeah, Greg agrees. These were brilliant touches. Like the costumes are just perfect.
I mean, the one thing you can guarantee, though, if you think about it, like with Disney involved, everything is going. They're not going to cheap out somewhere. Disney's not going to allow the MCU, their biggest moneymaker. Isn't it funny that in a world where one company owns both Marvel and Star Wars, that the biggest moneymaker they have is the comic book company? The MCU makes way more money for them than the Star Wars movies do.
The one that almost went out of business and went bankrupt a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it's so funny that you can think that there was a time when comic book movies were nothing. You didn't want a comic book movie. That was just trash. You didn't do it, right? And now you make a comic book movie, you're like, oh, you're just printing money,
Oh, here's a fun WandaVision fact from Andy Price. His friend Chris Donino made Wanda's headpiece and the Vision gem for this episode.
Oh yeah, nice.
Oh wow, cool. Here's a fun fact about Andy Price. You want to know a fun fact about Andy Price?
Oh boy,
why not?
He's going to be on next week with us.
What?
That's a fun fact. Yeah. So.
I
or
see.
at least
You have
he
me
said
on.
yes. So
I see. You have me on to bring the standard down, so Andy can bring it back up. Good. That's always.
Yeah. That's the way it works. Yeah. I like it. All right.
That'll be good.
That was good. I like that.
Referring
Any
back
other
to an
comments,
earlier,
Phil? Yeah.
referring back to an earlier comment we had about Ellis Drive. Anyone from Greg? Anyone has any theories on Don't Go Past Ellis Drive? Is there any special meaning behind the name linked to Ellis Island, or is it a reach? And I can't think of from their history of Ellis myself.
Well, wasn't Steve Ellis one of the Avengers artists? Or am I mistaking that?
Well, Steve Englehart was the writer.
Englehart. No, but there's an artist, isn't there? I believe.
Steve Ellis?
No, not Steve Ellis. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I'm very bad at names.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. We should do a show together.
Bad at names. Well, look, I taught accounting at a college level, at a night course at college for like 8 years, and I told my students at the beginning of the term, "You're lucky if I remember your first name."
Oh, well, ask Jason. I tell all my kids they're lucky if I remember their name after Christmas from September.
So the problem is this. I remember all of my students.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember an actor's name. I can't remember whatever, but my students, because I remember all their names. And now when all we see is this of everybody, like just the eyes and above, it became harder. So I had to start reading people's eyes to kind of remember their eyes, because you can see their face and whatever. But I remember my students' names, but I can't remember the actor in this or that. Like, I remember they're in these things. I was like, oh, that guy, what's his face, Or as I would say to, when I say to Haley, what's that guy's name? Steve Bob Johnson, kind of thing. And she's like, I don't think it's Steve Bob Johnson. I go, okay, Bob Steve Johnson, kind of thing.
Steve Ellis is the illustrator, co-creator behind The Silencers with Fred Van Lente. High Noon with David Gallagher.
Steve Ellis. I'm getting him confused with maybe there was an artist. I know. Steve Ellis is awesome. I know him. He comes to the store. Awesome artist. I was thinking of Steve Epting.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. So
because Steve did Captain America.
Right. I'm
getting Captain America.
I'm
You're
crossing their
the
names.
America streams.
Yeah, because they're both Steve. So that's why. Okay. Sorry, both Steves. I apologize.
Gotta be careful crossing those streams.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a question about you two guys since we're crossing streams. How do you guys know each other? D. Brad really wants to know.
Oh man.
I don't know. How do we know each other?
So it was through work school. We both work at the same place.
So okay. So you want the funny story behind this? So because
we like the origin stories. Origin stories are fantastic.
So I'm sitting in the teacher center and I'm kind of playing around like I can draw because I can't. And I'm playing around with Litchwick, who Franco knows, right? Kind of thing where, and we're just kind of, and he goes, "Hey, if you want to draw, whatever." He says, "You should come up and see me." And I'm like, "I don't know who you are." Right. So we meet each other like literally that afternoon in the teacher center. That night we're at an advanced screening of the movie called Perfect Strangers, which I loved and Franco did not.
That's right. I forgot about that. We just met. Right.
That afternoon, right? And we're there. And I knew Chrissy because I'd met Chrissy, who's another teacher with us, who was another art teacher. And he's there with Chrissy, and I'm there with my wife. And I go, "Hey, I know that guy." And Kelly goes, "What's his name?" I go, "I think it's Frank or something." I said, "That's Chrissy." She goes, "Oh, they're teachers?" I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Are they dating?" I go, "No." I said, they're both here, though, because I was like, whatever. But so what happens? We go in the next morning, and he's like, "Hey, I saw you last night." And that's really how it all began. I wish I was kidding. There's not this cool epic like we were fighting. Like, it was 1935 and we were in the midst of the whatever. It's not like some cool story like that. It's like literally because we were just happened to be there. And then what happens? I start hanging out with him up in during my free periods. One year we actually had free periods together, had lunch together, and then I used to hang out with his AP art students. And I would funny story. And Franco remember Gavin. I love Gavin. I'm sitting there painting a bust of Jason Voorhees, right? And it's just from like this. It's all primed and stuff. And I start painting, and it's taken, again, we're only working at 40 minutes at a time. So I do a little bit and a little bit. So after a week, he goes, "Mr. J, I thought you were good at this." I said, "I am." I said, he goes, "Yeah, but it looks like crap." I said, "Dude, we're like 45 minutes into painting this thing." I was like, I had to do all the ins and outs. He goes, "But it doesn't look very good." Because I was like, "Well, yeah, because it takes time, right?" But he's like, it doesn't take me that long. And I go, but yeah, but you're working on it for like 2 hours at a clip, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love hanging out with the AP art kids when they would be like, what are we doing? And I would be painting like a piece and they were like, that's weird. And I'm like, yeah, wait, you don't even understand.
I used to like hanging out with them too, but now it's all over computers, so I don't even
Yeah,
do that
no,
anymore.
now it's not the same anymore. Yeah.
Oh, we got a request from Andy Price. Could we get a close-up on what Jason's working on?
Oh, sure.
Yes, do it.
All right. So what I did was, obviously, the teeth I had painted in, did a little whites on the eyes. I went in with a kind of a darker flesh tone for the lips, or for the gum line, and then the tongue is now in a reddish kind of color. I'm just basing colors in. I have to eventually go in and airbrush.
Now, also, you're hand painting this, but you would normally do airbrush stuff too, right?
Yeah, it's all I do. So I used to not believe in airbrushing. I thought it was cheating. And then I learned how to airbrush, and I said, "Oh, this is not cheating. This is hard." So I've been airbrushing for at least about 10 years now. But
and
yeah,
the reason
all
we're
the
not doing it now is that's all you would hear right now is the compressor.
Yeah, it's super loud. But so this is fun piece. One of the things, the muzzle here, the front of the face coming out there, that's a very Casey Love thing. He likes to do that in a lot of his pieces. He pushes the teeth out. It gives it that kind of snarling look to it. So I love painting those kind of things. Like I said, the alien head I held up before is another of his pieces. He pushes the teeth out to kind of give you that like, monster look. So, but it's coming along. I mean, this thing really needs to be airbrushed or something, because that's why there's no skin tone. This is just primered.
Jason,
yeah.
Andy wanted to know, do you use any pastels on your kits?
Yes, I do. I use, so pastels are referred to as the poor man's airbrush. That's usually what they say, right? And the thing with pastels is that on resin pieces or plastic or vinyl, again, regular standard models, you work the pastel in, you grind it up on the sandpaper, and you work it in with a very worn down brush.
You have to chop it up and grind it up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like makeup powders. When you do makeup effects and stuff, you have to work it in really small, and then once you get it where you want to, you then have to hit it with a shot of sealer and then let it completely dry. Because the worst thing you can do is then, if once it seals, you're fine, but you have to make sure it's sealed because it'll muddy up. And I do
what do you use when you say pastel? Do you use chalk pastel or oil pastels?
Chalk pastels. Where are they? Yeah, they're over here. They're down here. They're just the stick chalk pastels. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Right. The oil pastels will smudge more on there, and it will wind up staining things that you don't want to. The great part about a pastel is when you get it in there and you start working it in, it'll give like subtle shading under an eye or something. I use a lot of them around eyes, especially in like the tear ducts and things like that. But I know of guys who have done pastels on a whole entire piece. And you like, this is nuts. And then, but the only problem with pastels is you're always like, you're working and you're gently like, blow a little bit and fix because the powders get in there. But you need to use a good quality pastel. Cheaper pastels will work for certain things, but if you really want to do fine work in details, you want to use a better grade of pastel. But yeah, so I definitely have. And the thing with pastels, depending on what you're doing, you can actually do a lot of shading and shadowing in the ridges of the face. So here, I'll pull this up here. I'll show you. If you were trying to do up in here, like in the ridges here, you could actually do in these ridges, you could actually shadow with a pastel. So you get your base color on, you would go in with your mottled color, whatever, you would put your flesh tone down or your tone down, and then you would do with an airbrush, you would mottle over it. And when you mottle over, you create that like squiggle pattern and figure eights. But then you can go in and punch up in there in the actual ridges of there. Same idea under the eyes and in the eye sockets and stuff. I know guys who will go in and they'll do like the shadow here, do this. Pastels work beautifully. Here, let me switch out the piece. Let me grab the other piece here. I'm doing a piece for my buddy's birthday. So you guys might recognize Willy Wonka here, right? So if I wanted to do like on Willy Wonka, if I wanted to give him a 5 o'clock shadow, I could do that with an airbrush, but it's probably easier to do that with a pastel. Now, I mean, Gene Wilder didn't have a 5 o'clock shadow in the movie, so I don't need to do it on here. But if I wanted to do it in, I would actually take the darker pastels and I would work them around in the areas. Oop. Okay. So, yeah, it's just different stuff that we're doing. So let me put him back for now. Pick up this guy.
basically anything that works, basically.
Yeah. And the great part is that I use colored pencils, the soft colored pencils. I use whatever you don't. Some guys are kind of like, well, I don't use this, or some guys are like, I only use oil paints, or I only use acrylics. Like anything that works. Like I'm willing to try things out. In fact, you know this. I've gone in your room. I go, can I try this pencil? Can I try this? And I'll take those, like the not necessarily the ebony pencil you're using, but the one. It's kind of like, it looks like that, but it's that real soft pencil with the real dark one. I don't remember what it was, but you had them on your desk. I was like, let me try this. And I'll go in and I'll actually do highlight lines on the primer coat. And then I'll airbrush over. And it just gave me a drop shadow that I would do kind of thing. And it's just trying things out. And if it doesn't work, you just take it off. So.
But it's also the same rules with drawing. It's highlights and shadows. That you're looking to pop, because the darker the shadow, that pushes your eye in and away from things, and lighter brings it forward. So it's the same principle there.
Yeah. Let me see if this will show up. The light might wash this out. Let's see. So this guy right here.
Oh, hold on. Let's bring him up close. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Hold on. Let me get to the other one.
Yes. Okay. So you see this guy here?
What happened to his face?
Yeah, this is my buddy Mikey Rotella. He does special effects in Hollywood and stuff, and mass and stuff. He's phenomenal, right? And as you see, let me get this closer this way, right? Like all the depth and stuff in the teeth, and all the depth and stuff in there. Now he sculpted that in there. He's a great sculptor, but I go in and I have to pick those things out. So again, this is a lot of airbrushing and a lot of stuff, but you'll use your pastels in the teeth especially. So like in the teeth, to make them look grimy and stuff, you go in and you do work around it. And again, it's washed out with this light because I have the light shooting right at it. Right. That's the kind of stuff you
see. Yeah, you can still see it. Especially in the teeth, the darker areas of the teeth. I never would have thought that you would put the darker in there to make it more recessed and look three-dimensional, more further out.
Going the wrong way. Yeah. See, like, and then one of the important things, and this is something that I think artists sometimes guys who do art, drawing art and stuff like that, two-dimensional art, kind of keep in mind. Yeah, I've never met them either. They kind of know this, and that's where we, as three-dimensional artists, as guys who are painting on three-dimensional pieces, we have to steal from, is you want to keep the piece interesting. You want to keep your eye moving throughout the piece. And that's something that's hard. My buddies Jeff Camp and John Allred speak about this all the time when they're doing classes. As you see here, like, see the little pop of green, and I have the little pops of color happening there. I want to keep this interesting because there's a lot of reds, and your eye gets bored with the red. So it's just like you would put in your shadow lines or your whatever when you're doing a character who's wearing all red, or like a Daredevil, and you want to punch up things to kind of keep it interesting for the eye so it doesn't look flat. This helps your eye stay interested in the piece, because the wet here, and you have to change your wet levels, and you have to change your wet level in your eyes and stuff like that. All of that stuff that you do helps make the piece more interesting. I mean, look, the back of his brain is just creeping out the back of his skull. Well, brains are one color. Yeah, it's drippy. But like this green thing here, this green sac, it doesn't have any particular purpose. It's just, anatomy that's there. So you change that up and you make that look a little different.
Is that your choice, or is that like the way the monster comes in? Like that green sac, if someone else is doing it, like say if I'm building that kit, that could be like something completely different, or part of his brain or something like that, or
well, the thing is, because this is an original sculpt, this is an original, I mean obviously it's an original piece. This is not based on a movie. There's no reference for it. So it's hard to see over my shoulder. I don't want to knock everything over here, but if you look, see behind me right there, back there, I Was a Teenage Werewolf is very distinctly what it's supposed to look like. The Mummy has a distinct look what it's supposed to look like. But then next to them, the pumpkin guy, again, it's a little harder to see them. That's an original sculpt and our original idea. So it's whatever I want it to be.
I was going to ask you, like the teenage werewolf guy, if you're painting him and you paint it like however you want to paint it, do people like freak out and they're like, why did you do that? Yeah.
Yes. I've been told I do things wrong. I paint wrong. I do things wrong. I don't take things serious enough. And I'm like, it's a hobby. Why would, like, if you said to me, hey, you're making a movie and this is costing, $25 million and $40 or $50 million to do. Okay. And then
Zack Snyder did it wrong. That's why he's doing it again. Yeah.
Well, but I'm saying, but the thing is, but if someone said to me, "Hey, I need you to do this for me," like I've done masks and stuff that people have used in short films and stuff like that, and I say, I ask the client what they want. Well, the client's right. Whatever the client wants is what I make, right? And because it's their film, and if someone says, "Man, that was horrible," well, they're not saying the mask was horrible. They're saying, "Wow, your story was atrocious." Like that's on you. That's not on me. I didn't write said story, right? And that to me is always the big thing. When you look at trying to do something for somebody, if you're doing a piece, I mean, because I don't do a ton of commission work, I also charge nothing. I charge so little for commission work because I'm illegal, because this isn't my job. My job's to teach math, you know, to be that math influencer that I am. And so what happens is when I do commission work, I want to do pieces that are interesting and pieces that are, you know, fun. But then when it's something from a movie, someone sends me a Frankenstein, I'm like, okay, you want traditional green skin? You want this? You want this? They go, yes, I can do that. But then someone will send me a piece that's like an original piece. I'm like, what do you want? Tell me the idea you want. Send me, you know, whatever, and I can work from there. It's the best when people give me free range to do whatever I want. My dad's really good about that. He has most of my dad's stuff is like, because I do all my dad's painting now of all his stuff. That's pretty much the I'm his commission artist. He doesn't pay for it. Yeah. But it's fine. You know, kind of thing. But it allows me to work on kits sometimes I couldn't afford. I mean, you know, my dad will buy a $500 kit, you know, sometimes, and I'm like, okay, I could never afford this kit. He's like, all right, paint it. And I'm like, awesome. And at the end of the day, it's still part of my portfolio that I've painted, even if I don't have to own the piece. So, but when you look at like shadowing and stuff like that, there's nothing different than what you're doing than I do and stuff. And again, I tell people all the time, I certainly don't consider myself a great artist. I'm somebody who's just, you know, picking away at these things and having a good time. And if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it anymore, you know, kind of thing. And that's the hard part. Like I taught myself how to, I learned how to airbrush, and then when I had all the neuropathy and I kept dropping the airbrushes and stuff like that, I had to reteach myself how to airbrush. And I always think of it like, remember when Frank Frazetta, when he had a stroke, right?
When he had a stroke and he had to learn how to paint with his left hand,
and his left-handed stuff is amazing, but it's different.
It's different,
you know? Yeah. So I feel that like when I started developing neuropathy, I could no longer hold my airbrush. My airbrush would just fall out of my hands, and I had to walk away for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever it was. And then I got a heavier airbrush so I could feel it better and do it. I basically had to relearn how to paint again. And I think that made me a better artist at the end of the day, because I was relearning with a different knowledge base than I had before. So sorry, not to get too deep.
Oh no. Actually, no. This is good because Andy Price wants to know, what is your Grail kit that you've worked on?
That I've worked on, or because I have Grail kits that I
or your Grail kit.
My Grail kit might get bailed with me. My Grail kits might get buried with me. I don't know if I'm ever going to work on them. So the one thing I had actually was, and this is crazy. So from Monster Squad, there's the creature that Steve Wang, that he designed with Matt Rose, kind of thing for Stan Winston Studios. There was one, they was only released in Japan. I think there was only 50 of them by Kotobukiya or I forget which company it was. There's only 50 of them ever made, and it was only released in Japan. And the rumor is, and I can't guarantee, I wasn't there, someone bought 2, took one and smashed it. He goes, now it's worth more because there's only 49 of them. And right, I have one in my closet, and I was gifted by my buddy Mark Tassone. I commissioned, when I didn't know what I was doing, I commissioned Mark Tassone do a piece of Dracula impaled on a cross, and he gifted that to me because I had sent him all of the Hammer Dracula movies as reference, and as a thank you, he sent that back. So that piece might never get painted. I think I want to be buried with it because it is my favorite, and it's just a Grail piece. The only other things, I don't have things like that because I'm not big into like rare kits and stuff. I just like things that look good. I have the Carrie piece from Dimensional Designs, which is the Queen of the Prom. It's not super, it's just her standing with her hands out. And that might never get painted either because I love them so much. I just don't know if I ever want to paint them. I know some people get a Grail kit, they paint immediately. I kind of like hold on to it and save it. And like, I don't know if I want to do this because at the end of the day, I'm still like a little leery, but,
well, you know, D. Brad really loves what you're working on.
Thank you.
Franco.
Thank you. Oh, I thought you were talking
to me. No, wait, you're coming next.
Oh.
I have to give the love equally, or else he'll cut me off. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
D. Brad.
I get pissed if he doesn't give me some. I'll go close on me while you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
D. Brad really loves your Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, it's getting there.
And to pass the love on, Jason, you're an amazing guest. He really enjoys everything that you've been talking. This was a really good.
Now why'd you have to tell him
experience.
that? Because now his head's going to get bigger, and when we get to work, he's going to go, I should be on your show again.
I mean,
Jason we always hang out.
Resident Alien yet, though. That's the thing. We haven't talked Resident
We're not
Alien.
going to talk about Resident Alien because we're going to run out of time. I want to talk about the Godzilla movie. And then
okay.
Jason's going to have to come back when I think around WrestleMania time because there's no one else on this that knows more about wrestling than Jason. So
see, you might know. I know the old wrestlers because that's when I was following it with Edward Carpentier, Andre the Giant, the Rougeau brothers.
All right, yeah, we can't. We're not getting into wrestling.
We're not going to
that is a rabbit hole we don't want to go down. Trust me.
Time for
Godzilla. All right. So, did you guys? First of all, let's start off with the trailer. Did you see the trailer for the new one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Did you watch the Japanese trailer?
I did, but I watched the Japanese trailer a couple of days ago, and I had to watch the trailer again. Because I had forgotten about it. So I didn't watch the Japanese one again. I just watched right before the show. I watched the other one. Okay. But I went back this week and I watched Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of the Monsters. And we need to talk about those, and then we'll talk about the trailer. So, yeah. And I have lots of questions.
But you didn't watch Godzilla? Because you had to start off with Godzilla, then go into Kong, then go into...
I wanted to, but Jason knows I never had that kind of time. Honestly, I was surprised with myself because the other night I actually took the night off because things happen in life, and I'm like, I just need a break from everything, and I watched Kong Skull Island. So I took the night off and I watched that all in one sitting. Now, contrast that to Godzilla, which I also watched this week, but I watched 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and it took me like 4 days to watch that movie altogether. So get into it. Okay, let's talk about Kong Skull Island first. What do you think? Jay,
I love Kong Skull Island. So Dad and I saw that in the theater. So crazy part, we went to go, and we are not big go see it in IMAX and stuff like that. We go Sunday mornings when everyone's still either drunk or in church, and we kind of like want to be alone kind of thing. We go, and they only show it in IMAX. We go see it in IMAX, and they show the Dunkirk trailer that was only shown in the theaters where it's only the dog fights, and it blows you away. You're like, what is this? And then what happens? Kong Skull Island opens with the two planes, right? And we're like, is this it again? But then Kong Skull Island unleashes it at you. I mean, it's right in your face. It is no... Right.
For those of you that don't know, this is the King Kong movie that stars Captain Marvel, Loki, and Nick Fury.
Yes. I said that.
And Roseanne's husband for some reason.
I said that to Luke. Well, I said that to Luke. I said it's so funny. I mean, when it came out, I said, man, there's a lot of Marvel people in this movie. I think for a legendary picture, which is, of course, not Disney. I think what they did in Kong Skull Island, they did a very good job of establishing Kong as the young king. He's the last of a breed. He's truly an Earth defender. I think they really push that here, and they talk about the idea that his job is to keep, the skull crawlers, keep them below.
Question now, because the skull crawlers.
Yep.
Who, what, where, why? Are they related to all these kaiju monsters from these other movies? Okay.
Yes.
See, Jason would know all these answers.
So the whole Hollow Earth theory is what they're testing, and that's the whole reason they're dropping the bombs, and they're trying to figure out the Hollow Earth. And now we know there's a Hollow Earth, because that's how Godzilla gets places later on. Mm-hmm. And what happens is if there's a Hollow Earth, then now there's another question.
I know you're explaining this, but the questions pop up as you're talking. So, young black gentleman in Kong Skull Island, the one with John Goodman, is he the same? I know he's not the same black gentleman, but is he the same person? Is he the same person as
he's the same character
Godzilla when they're with Mothra in the waterfall and stuff like that? Yes. It is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So Monarch is the old.
I made that connection all by myself.
And Monarch is, is the company, like kind of thing, right? They're the ones who take, who are investigating the monsters, doing everything like that. And I think what they do a very good job of establishing Monarch in Kong Skull Island. You start realizing, like, I mean, again, it's the 1970s, so everything looks different and whatever, but it looks like the 70s. And that the idea is that instead of this being De Laurentiis's 76 Kong, where it's like, oh, we're gonna go there and do all this stuff, and then you're like, whatever, whether you like it or not, it's set up to be different. They still go to the island, but instead of being exactly the same story again for a third time, like we got in 33 and 76, this time the story is, hey, he's not this crazed, gorilla could be a better way to say it, who wants to steal the girl and whatever. You're in on his island. He wants you to leave.
Right.
He doesn't want anything else. And once the skull crawlers come out, you start realizing, oh, there's danger in the movie there are those the daddy long legs spiders that they shoot the guy through. There's everything on the island's trying to kill you. Like everything's trying to kill. It's like going to Australia, kind of thing where they used to.
I'll never go there or Skull Island. Yes,
right.
And Andy Price says that those the Skull Crushers are based on the original 33 Kong.
Yes. Okay. So the Skull Crawler. Okay. So Peter Jackson. For those of you who do not know this, Peter Jackson went back and in his remake of Kong, he went back to the concept stuff and he made his creatures in the pit.
Right, that was my other question. Does this movie relate to that one at all?
No,
or
no,
not really. Okay,
nope. No, this is a totally different Kong.
I knew it didn't. I knew it didn't by watching it, but I'm thinking there might be some connection that you would know about. But
yeah, so the spider pit scene, and again, this is all it's 1933, so everyone who probably ever worked on this thing is since passed away. But the rumor always was that the 33 scene was, everyone says it was filmed and it was cut. There's no evidence of it actually ever being filmed because there's no actual stills or anything. What we only have are the drawings that Willis O'Brien did, and in those drawings, what Peter Jackson did. Peter Jackson at Weta Studios went and made. He got actors and whatever, and he recreated them, and he made the spider pit scene. So on one of the specials on the King Kong, his remake of King Kong, is the actual spider pit scene supposedly to be exactly what it was storyboard wise. And what happened was all the creature designs, when you think about the skull crawlers and the war bat, which is in the new one and things like that, they took those designs from the original spider pit scene. And the spider pit scene, the only piece we get of it is when Driscoll is hanging and Kong's swiping at him in 33. When he ducks in, you have that lizard with with only front legs and it's like half snake and whatever is coming up, and he cuts the line and drops it.
Oh, we've just been corrected by Greg Burke. Not everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
No, I know that. It's just, but the thing is, there's 7 of the 10 deadliest spiders and 6 of the 10 deadliest snakes. It is they showed the thing. They're like, we're going to go talk about the 10 deadliest snakes in the world. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be terrifying. And they're all in Australia. And I'm like, and one of them swims and is as big as an eel. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
I'm never going there.
All it needs is to have like a shiv and it stick you, kind of thing. Like, what the heck,
I think the spiders there can help you park your car.
That's all you need to do is make a deadly snake deadlier by giving him a shiv.
Yeah. Look out, Shrek, he's got a piece, kind of thing. So, but yeah, so no, and I don't mean to. I have friends who live in Australia, and they were like, "Oh no, it's crazy," some of the stuff that's there. But again, it's like anything else, though. Like when you start looking at,
I sorry to interrupt, but I tell this story all the time. Nicola Scott, who I just adore, and she's an amazing artist, and she invites me to Australia all the time. She's like, "You have to come to Australia," and I tell her, "Honey, I love you. I'm just never coming there ever."
Well, the other problem is it's like a really long plane ride, and I've flown with you for 2 hours. I don't know if you.
That's the main reason I'm not going. Is like me and flights.
Yeah. We've known each other for like a minute, and
I like to pretend I'm manlier, but I'm gonna draw the line at deadly snakes. I'm not. No, it's the plane ride that's gonna kill me. Yeah. It's not. It's not anything else.
I'm just saying, it's you and I had 3 seats flying down to Florida that time because that guy got pissy. So we're sitting there, and this guy's trying to sit between us. He goes, "I'm not sitting between the two of you." I'm like, "Great, go pound salt, dude. I don't care." He gets up and walks away, and he goes, "Where'd that guy go?" I go, "He's gone." He goes, "Awesome." We throw the armrest up. Now we got a seat and a half each flying to Florida, a 2-hour flight, and I was like, "This is crazy." Not as bad as coming home that time. Good Lord.
Oh boy.
When I was ready to. I was spitting nails. I was so mad. Anyway, so they definitely want to pay homage there with those, and I think what you're going to start seeing in some of the creatures that you see in later on in like King of the Monsters and stuff like that, they're paying homage a lot of times to what came before, and I think that's one of the great part about the legendary movies is that they are not too proud to say, "Hey, we understand that there was stuff that came before us, and we'll pay homage to it, but we'll put our own spin on it."
Right.
And in Kong Skull Island, of course, what happens? He fights the giant octopus, which is from King Kong Escapes, which is a great movie.
Right.
And this time he eats the octopus.
I was going to say he loves calamari.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because in the original, in King Kong Escapes, he kills the octopus, and he throws it back out to sea, and then later on, the crew ate the octopus for dinner. Because there was a live octopus on the set, they didn't want to go to waste. Here, Kong's like, no, I'll take care of it. Thanks. And I love when he slurps it up at the end. Just like
he walks away and it's still like spaghetti in his mouth. Yeah.
So, there's actually a scene in Kong Skull Island that, to me, this had to be somebody, some artist somewhere just thought this up and said, "You got to put this in the movie." When they got the big machine gun mounted on the head of the Triceratops bones. And he's just firing out of the mist. Nothing screams to me more than like comic book cover or like that is just cinematically just amazing.
It did look pretty cool. Yeah.
But I'm saying is like that to me, that's the cover of your comic. That sells your thing. Like I don't know what's going on here. Remember what's the name? Luke would kill me because I don't remember the name of it. Was it DC made them? There was like army guys fighting dinosaurs.
The Land That Time Forgot.
Yeah, like that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
it's Monster Island. It's where the losers went to.
Yes,
it was part of Darwin Cook used it too for
in Final not Final Frontier. Oh come on, what the hell's that? I forgot the name of that. Franco knows because he pissed him off with it. New Frontier. Yeah.
New Frontier. Yeah.
But like that scene, like things like that, they set up that movie to have iconic parts to it that just kind of become memorable because you can see it. And whether people realize it or not at the time, like that's just cinematically looking at that, or just as an artist looking at that, you're like, okay, that's just amazing looking. That's just great to see. And I also love that Kong is scarred up. I love that he has a big scar on his face. I love that he's not pretty. He looks like a king who's fought. He's a king who's fought for his kingdom. Now, that's a very young Kong.
They had the copters going into him, and he had the blood on his arm and everything, and he had all these scars all over him.
Yeah. I'm just saying you don't have a pretty pristine Kong. And I think that's one of the main parts when you think about Kong himself, is that he's not a king who rules because he's the only thing there. He's the ruler because he's the baddest, guy on the block, kind of thing, right? No one's gonna be able to. And at the end, when he's fighting the giant skull crawler and he gets the chain caught on the blade, I'm like, oh my God, this is not gonna end well for this thing, right? And he just, something's gonna get split open. That's what's gonna happen. So, but again, Kong Skull Island, if you have never seen Kong Skull Island, folks, you're missing out. It definitely, in the theater, it blew us away. We saw it in IMAX, and it blew you to your seats. And you're like, whoa.
Amazing soundtrack.
Yeah.
The soundtrack, it was like a Tarantino movie with a soundtrack.
Yeah. Well, not just the soundtrack, but the actual score is amazing as well. But they did a really good job of capturing the 1970s feel. They made sure they got the right songs, and it wasn't like Muzak versions. It was the real songs.
No.
Yeah. Although I do love that Nixon is on the dashboard, right, and his head's shaking around, and Haley goes, "Oh, that's not going to end well for him." And I was like, "Oh, honey, you don't even know what you're talking about there." So from the mouths of babes, So, but Well worth a rewatch for those of us who, if you haven't watched it again, it's well worth a rewatch, folks, because I'm going to tell you, it's not dull. I mean, for a 2-hour movie, it goes by pretty quick. Samuel L. Jackson is great as the absolute insane lieutenant there. What's his name? John C. Reilly as the castaway.
Great,
yeah. I love that all he wants to do is have a beer and a hot dog and watch the Cubbies. It always makes me think of Artie, though, because he wants to go watch the Cubbies. I don't know. I don't think Artie's he's a White Sox fan, though, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? But, just one of those movies that's well worth the watch back.
I liked it. I forgot how much I liked it because I remember seeing it, and I'm not I forgot that Captain Marvel was in it. Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Brie Olson. I always call her Brie Olson. That's a very different movie if Brie Olson's in it.
Yeah.
For those of you old enough, you can look up who Brie Olson is. For those of you too young, don't worry about it. Kong Skull Island's a great one.
Yeah, but they set up the Hollow Earth theory back there, and it's that same guy in there. So moving on to Godzilla, I had a lot more problems with Godzilla. Right? How did you? Well, first of all, before we even get into Godzilla, because now the movie's coming out where they're versing each other. So, Wayne, Jason, Team Godzilla or Team Kong? Which one? Which side? You're on Godzilla. Team Godzilla.
Well, I'm a Kong guy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm a Kong guy. Anyone who's ever listened to Bots, Bugs, and Babes know Dad and I are. I mean, my dad's the biggest King Kong fan there probably ever was. And I love King Kong, and my brother is the Godzilla guy in the house. The problem is, I think we already know that there's no way in the world they're going to really fight each other.
Right.
But, and that's another story for another day.
Is Mechagodzilla in this one?
Yeah, you see him at 3 seconds into the trailer.
You do, right?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so the thing, so King of the Monsters. We saw King of the Monsters in the theater with my dad. We took my dad like on $5 Tuesday when that used to be a thing in Carmel. And I loved it. I mean, I think it's exactly what I want it to be. It's again, it has its sciencey stuff in it and whatever, but it's just a monster fight movie.
Yeah, but Kong doesn't have a really catchy song. See, Godzilla has Blue Oyster Cult, Go Go Godzilla. What's Kong? Doesn't have the catchy song.
Well,
yeah. And the other thing I didn't like about Kong is they got the guy from Early Edition, or for you slightly older folks, the guy from Friday Night Lights. Whose name I don't know, but the guy knows football. What's he doing fighting Godzilla? And now he's going to be in this one too because I saw him in the trailer. I'm very upset, and now he's got to. This is my prediction. He's got to lose again. Spoilers if you didn't watch any of this stuff, but they lose the son. Then they lose mom, and 11. They're going to lose 11.
I don't think so. I think they're going to keep her around. He might lose him. Yeah, well, because think about it. In Godzilla in the Godzilla 2014, the first Godzilla of the Legendary series, every trailer made it look like a Bryan Cranston movie. Like,
oh yeah, he was gone in like seconds.
He's gone like 15 minutes into the movie, and then what happens is Wanda and
Quicksilver.
Right. But isn't it funny though? They play brother and sister in what Age of Ultron came out the same year as that, with their husband and wife. And I'm like, there's a lot of confused children out there.
I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that movie's not about. Okay. So the main difference is this: when you look at Godzilla 14, and that's told a lot. Like, they don't show you a ton of the monster fights; they do at the end. But a lot of stuff is told through news clip. It's told through stuff you hear on the side. It's all told differently, which I love because it wasn't exactly the same.
Well, that was also a movie where you didn't see the monster right away.
Yep.
It took a while, but then, they didn't fall into the trap of never showing him. They did show him when he finally showed up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so what happens is that if that's your setup, then King of the Monsters is exactly. You don't have to worry about. We know what Godzilla looks like. We know what things look like. So then, when they reveal King Ghidorah, you're like, "Whoa! Look how big Ghidorah is!" Because he's huge. I mean, Ghidorah is no joke, right? So, and then even when Rodan is born out of the volcano, which is a throwback, of course, to the original Rodan, from back in the day. Like, these are no joke monsters. These are not like, hey, we're cutesy pie. These are like real monsters that could, in theory, if kind of thing, they look like what? You okay?
Well, here's a question because no, I'm not. I'm not having some sort of episode. Now, when they go down and they nuke him underground, right? To bring him back, he comes up to the boat and he looks at him. He's like, in his own Godzilla way, he's like, "Thank you, guy from Friday Night Lights. You saved my life," type thing, right? But
Friday Night Lights, the TV series.
Yeah.
It's not Billy Bob Thornton.
My issue is this. My issue is they're out in the middle of the ocean out there, right? They had to fly out to that oil rig out there. So then he comes up to the surface. How is he standing? He's standing in the middle of the ocean.
He has really good legs. He's like paddling underneath.
Yeah, but I don't see those legs moving. I don't see those.
No. It's underwater. You just don't see it.
His tail is propelling him up. His tail is working, and
I think you guys are reaching on that one. I'm sorry.
Neither one of us are biology teachers. I don't think we need to get into the
aquatic here.
I didn't know there'd be science.
Where's Light Switch? Let's get him in here. He'll fix this.
So, and my other question is, 11 uses the orca, to summon three-headed Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah, yes.
Yeah.
Or gridiron.
Yeah, gridiron, because he's on the football field. She's on the baseball field. Same difference. So she gets orca, and my in the back of my brain, I'm like, all right, where's Jaws? When is Jaws going to show up? Because all the monsters were coming to Boston. So she had the orca. When's Jaws showing up?
So there's a scene cut. Well, it wasn't cut. It never got filmed, but there was a scene that was proposed. And when she turns the orca on and all the monsters start coming, that it shows Skull Island. And Kong hears it, turns, and then shrugs his shoulder as if he could care less about them. That to me, I think that scene would have been great because it would have shown Kong in that thing. But I think they were trying to keep that kind of under wraps. You know what I'm saying? Until the end. But what happened?
They mentioned Skull Island when they said all the monsters were coming. They mentioned Skull Island. Why wouldn't they show it? If they mentioned it, why would they show it? Why wouldn't they show it?
Because the thing is, then I think they were trying to keep under wraps the idea that Kong is no longer the same size anymore. He's now huge. I mean, Kong is now humongous.
Remember, he was just a baby and he was still growing.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is,
right, 1973, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're eating that much calamari every time you kill an octopus, I'm just saying you got one choice. That
was a lot of calamari.
It was. That was more calamari we ever put away. But it's one of those things, though, as you look at the way the monsters, how they come in and stuff like that. It allows each one of them have their own chance to enter the movie, to become their own character. And yet none of them feel lost in the mix of the main ones. So Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah.
Did they all get paid scale? Like, did they get paid the same as the Friday Night Lights guy?
I heard they work for peanuts.
Okay.
So
getting back to DC Comics, John Freeman brought up the comic book series was Star Spangled War Stories, which was a book, and it was The War That Time Forgot.
Yes, that's it.
DC did not did a reprint, but they brought it back with a Neil Adams cover. I remember that.
Yeah, I have it upstairs.
Went back to revisit.
Yeah, where it's all the black and whites all collected, those collected things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as nice as like those color bound ones, but this one also is a paperback that costs like $15 compared to $100 for those big books.
And Andy Price is on Team Monkey. Fling that poo, big guy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man.
I knew someone had to go there.
He's so big that his poos are going to be giant.
Well,
it's going to be awesome.
So, but they make a point of saying that. Sorry, they make a point of saying that. And even they said anything that has to do with kaiju, it's worth money. Even kaiju, waste material. Like they said, all that's worth money on the market, which of course ties into, if you remember your Pacific Rim, which is also legendary, where every piece of a kaiju is worth money. And let's be honest, I think everyone wants to see Ron Perlman in a movie with King Kong, Godzilla, and I just need more Ron Perlman. I love it.
Yeah,
and the great part about good, King of the Monsters, I almost called it Monster Zero, King of the Monsters, is that when you go back and watch it again, I mean, the effects are just outstanding. Everything's there. I mean, it has a lot to it. And there's like, again, this is not every movie needs to change your life. Not every movie needs to like change the way you think about things and how you look at things, whatever. But you can watch it and appreciate it. And it's such an engrossing movie. When you sit down and watch it, it can pull you in. It's hard to watch it and start and stops, which is what you did, kind of thing. Yeah. When you're watching it starts and stops, it gets a rhythm going. I mean,
the first time I saw it, like I saw it all the way through, but this time I was trying to get to it. Just time-wise,
Yeah, I'm just saying it. So it's one of those things. These movies do themselves really well. And after you've seen it a couple times, like this is one of those. It's on HBO. I'll pick it up and I'll just kind of watch. Like, oh, we're at this part. Let's watch the end or whatever kind of thing. And it's some movies don't have that. Some movies you kind of have to like, oh, I don't really want to keep watching this. Like, but movies like the Godzilla, both Godzilla movies and Skull Island have great jump offs. You get into them, you're like, oh, let's get going. Now, if you think about the original King Kong, Godzilla versus King Kong meets Godzilla, or try it again, Godzilla versus King Kong, right? Kind of thing, to one from the 60s. When you watch that movie, like they reestablish everything. Everything's reestablished for Kong. It's all different.
You just watch it, Wayne? You just watched that one, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I watched it as well.
And you know where in the current version of Godzilla, where he's powered up by nuclear energy, King Kong in '62 was powered up by electricity.
Yes. Cool. So there's a reason why that happens. It was not originally, the movie had to be changed, and some of the things kind of get kept over. So there's I don't know how deep we want to go into all this stuff, but
go deep.
Oh, we're here.
Because honestly, this is what happens in
I got at least another 20 minutes.
Godzilla versus King Kong. It's gonna happen in the new movie, because somehow Kong in the '62 movie, Kong uses a tree branch and tries to shove it down Godzilla's throat. Now he has this really cool axe that he's using to knock down his atomic breath.
Yeah, but what is that? Is that the CN Tower or the Seattle Dome or something like that?
Yeah, he rips something. It's a building. Yeah. So the thing is, so when in the original one, there was supposed to be, you can see things that are there. Like it wasn't originally, because they couldn't originally get King Kong. So the Toho King Kongs, and this is one of the reasons why you get you've never seen Mechani-Kong outside of King Kong Escapes. Their rights and stuff were kind of muddled. The rights to King Kong originally, who it belongs to, whether it belonged to Willis O'Brien, whether it belonged to Miriam C. Cooper, whether it belonged to RKO Studios, but a lot of those things were muddled, and a lot of those things and different things were sold off to different people, and rights were given. But Rankin Bass got involved with King Kong Escapes, which is why Mechani-Kong is now owned by them, but not really owned by them. This way, you'll never see him again. So some of the stuff that happened in King Kong vs. Godzilla was they didn't know if they were going to have King Kong at first. They kind of wrote other characters, and different characters were supposed to be different people. And then they're like, oh, we got Kong. And that's why Kong has to look different. He has to look different than actual, the Kong from RKO. Like I said,
there was no problem with that.
Oh no, but what the thing is this. Different. But they made him their own. But then when you watch King Kong Escapes, he looks much more like regular King Kong. And it was their desire to try to make their own character, something that they could own and use again. Now notice, Kong never shows up again. Like King Kong was supposed to show up in the 1980s in Godzilla movies. Mechani-Kong was supposed to come back, and then those kind of things, those ideas, have been in limbo because of who owns what rights, and and it's just all that stuff that goes along with that stuff. And anyway, long story short is, when you watch the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, there's a lot in there, and they truly are fighting each other. Godzilla is the bad guy. He is the heel 100% through and through. The problem was, right now we've had two Godzilla movies where he's the face. He's the good guy. And for them to say, oh, well, Godzilla's attacking people, why is he doing that? He's doing that because something's making him do it. And that's what we see. About three seconds into the trailer, you see Mechagodzilla walking over the top. Now, I was a big proponent. I'm fine with Mechagodzilla being there. To me, the bad guy in this movie should have been Mecha King Ghidorah. Mecha King Ghidorah would have been grown out of the single head that they have at the end of it. And it makes perfect sense. I'm not saying we're not going to get Mecha King Ghidorah down the road. But I'm saying is that
You're
was where
saying that Mecha King Ghidorah might be a cyborg Ghidorah?
He
like
is.
grafted onto a
he is. Well, Mecha, if you look, Mecha King Ghidorah from the actual, like when you go back into like what it actually was from the actual Toho stuff, is a cyborg. I mean, he's got a robot head, he's got a robot body, he's got parts of, and very unlike Mecha Kong, and then obviously Mecha Godzilla being the most famous. Mecha Godzilla, remember, when he appears, he's Godzilla. He looks like Godzilla, and you're like, why is he doing this? Godzilla's being a bad guy. And what happens is Godzilla shows up and burns the skin off of him, and there's a robot underneath.
Holy cow! Spoilers.
Yeah, no, that's from 1960 something. What are you spoilers? It's 50 years old.
I was gonna watch it this weekend. No, I wasn't gonna watch it.
Anyway, so what I'm saying, when you start thinking about that, could they do that here? I don't think they're doing it. I think right here, what you notice is in the trailer, and again, if you watch the Japanese trailer, it shows you more of it too. They're showing it charging up. They're showing the power levels and the whatever. And so there's definitely something that's driving Godzilla to do this. And the whole thing is, just like in any
cool when he's revving up, like his engine is revving up, and he sounds cool. I love that.
Yeah, and you know the thing is though, having Kong be the same size, that was people's whole thing. Like Kong will get killed because he's only 50 feet tall, and Godzilla's like whatever. Well, they made that very clear that he was a baby in '73, and now he's growing and growing and growing, and now he can be this giant. You know, he's still smaller than Godzilla. But when they're fighting Mechagodzilla is going to have an advantage because it's a machine. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't whatever, you know. But they're going to have to team up. Well, so, you know, they're going to have to just keep.
Ooh, do you think they'll have it voiced by Arnold? I am Godzilla.
I am here to take you.
Come with me if you want to live, Kong. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Well, that would be a T800 or T not because remember the T100 T1000 is the liquid metal. T800 is Schwarzenegger. The T100s were the base models they couldn't have.
The roid ones.
The ones that had what do you call
really big.
No, that's what they say. Kyle Reese even says it in the movie. He says his character said they had bad skin. We could tell them in a second. Yeah, they could tell them in a second.
Rubber.
Yeah.
Well, they'll make the liquid ones out of Kong's pee. That's what they'll do.
Oh boy!
If they bring Soma in, that's because we're not at the trailer yet.
Wait, they're gonna give him Somas. Look, this isn't 90s wrestling. No one's giving out Somas like that. Let's keep this up and up.
It's the same thing. He's like out. Oh, I'm on the raft. They have to knock him out somehow. Did they use the red berry?
I don't know if they used the red berries.
That would tie into Star Trek.
Oh God.
With Spock and the red matter. I think that's what we're getting into.
Well, you brought up
tie into the J.J. Abrams Star Trek universe. The red berries.
You brought up that you were watching Star Trek, and you think that the Godzilla Kong fight they lifted in Star Trek for.
I did, yeah. If you look at the original, the '62 Kong Godzilla, you have the two of them fighting. I'm positive Gene Roddenberry was watching that film and said, "You know what? I'm going to do an episode of Kirk fighting a lizard guy." You look at the two of them fighting. You got a mammal versus a lizard, and in the other movie, you got a mammal versus a lizard. Not an original idea, Mr. Roddenberry. Not an original idea.
Oh boy!
The choreography too, like Disney.
I think
did,
it is. Yeah, there's
Winnie the Pooh and Jungle Book. Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you see that came up? It's Jungle Book, and when they're walking, they have the same animation. I'm like, they own it. What are you worried about?
Yeah,
it might have been, it's not like they lifted it from someone else.
Oh my God, they ripped themselves off. Yeah.
Well,
how dare
John
they?
Freeman has corrected me. There is a King Kong song by Jimmy Castor bunch.
Oh,
maybe not as great as the Blue Oyster Cult Godzilla theme. So now here's the thing: I had a problem with Godzilla King of the Monsters. Why couldn't they have used the original Blue Oyster Cult version of Godzilla?
Copyright.
That's the problem you had? The guy stands. The thing stands up in the middle of the ocean, and that's the problem you had.
That's the problem I had because I grew up with the original version. They should have used the original version. They used all the songs. They were able to get the songs for Kong. Did they spend all the money on Kong Skull Island for original music and didn't have enough for Godzilla King of the Monsters? I call shenanigans. There's shenanigans in this.
Oh, well. So,
see, this
the
is
thing
what I
is,
like about Jason. He gets annoyed. I like this.
They established a whole bunch of other creatures that we'd never seen. At the very end, we see them all come together there in Boston. And I love how, like, if you watch the credits, if you stop the credits every once in a while and you look at the things, it mentions the Loch Ness Monster. It mentions like all these
does it really?
things. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
like
funny.
It's all in there. And I was like, to me, there's nothing I think that would be greater than like the idea is that when you do something, like we were talking about how deep the Marvel universe is and how deep whatever. The Legendary universe, they're like, we can make the Monsterverse just as deep.
Yeah,
And
because they used Ray Romano's Woolly Mammoth from Ice Age in it.
Yeah.
Listen, I ain't got time. I'm just waiting for Dennis Leary to come out as the Tiger, and
Deborah. Yeah.
Love
it.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I mean, I can tell you this though. As we get closer to now, because it's going to be the end of March, we get closer to not Skull Island, excuse me, Godzilla versus Kong. We're going to start, the toys have started coming out. You started seeing now like the movie tie-in books available. It's going to be coming out after. Like all these things are start coming. I think people are going to start getting hyped up for it. And we'll see. I mean, obviously, we're not open yet. Not everywhere in the world can you go see it in the theaters. But I think people are going to be kind of like, okay, I really want to see these two things beat the living heck out of each other. Because let's be honest, whether I'm watching this upstairs, like on in the TV in the living room, or I saw it in a theater, this movie is going to be just like action. Like, you don't have to establish who King Kong is. You don't have to establish who Godzilla. You don't need backstory on who they are. They're just, who they are, and now they can fight. And once they fight, and then we have the big reveal of Mecha Godzilla, and now they're fighting Mecha Godzilla, which I think they've done a good job of just kind of little Easter egg peeks of it. They haven't kind of revealed the whole thing, and there's no toy of it. That's a big one. So there's toys right now of the Skullcrawler. There's toys of the Warbat, which we have never seen yet. And there's a toy of Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah. Now, are Skullcrawler and the back going to show up in the in this movie as well?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's part of what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing those things. So could it be very easily that whatever Mecha Godzilla is now drawing things in to fight against them? I mean, I don't think you shoot the whole this is the only time we're seeing. I think Mechagodzilla needs to be whatever, but it's being controlled by whatever company.
Yeah, I was going to say. But basically, you're saying that they rebuilt the Orca and put it in this Mechagodzilla.
Yes,
basically.
Yes,
wow.
I think that's where they're going.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's what I was thinking. That they had to rebuild the Orca to get everyone to come back.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to be, and it's driving Godzilla insane.
And they can't control it, which is why they go get Kong.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I think this movie is going to open with Godzilla destroying things, and it's going to be very confusing to people because he's been a hero so far. And what you're going to be revealed is that it's the Orca, whatever they want to call it here, kind of thing. The Mechagodzilla is driving Godzilla insane, and he's just trying to stop whatever it is, and it's like driving him to destroy.
It's because they did not use Blue Oyster Cult as the song. He is so upset that he cannot hear Blue Oyster Cult singing "Go Go Godzilla."
This is a Mobius strip of a conversation. But yeah, I mean, I think people are going to want to. I mean, I think people are going to be excited for it. I mean, being able to watch it, on HBO Max, after they finally worked out all their money deal and stuff like that, is going to be big. There is no Marvel movie competing with it. Right now, what I'm saying? There's not like there's a Marvel movie.
I don't think there's anything really competing with it. When it's out, right?
But I'm saying, what's big enough to compete with King Kong versus Godzilla? It would have to be something Marvel or something Star Wars. and there certainly ain't no Star Wars coming, you know, kind of thing. They did a good job of driving those into the ground. But, you know,
that's another show.
That's another story. We don't have that kind of time. It's almost 10 o'clock. So we're going to see, what do you call it? We're going to see where they're going to go with it. You know, it's going to be, I think it's going to be interesting as hell. I think we're going to be, it should be, if nothing else, you'll be entertained for 2 hours. You know, and again, not every movie needs to change your life. Not every movie needs to change the way you think. Not every movie needs to be like, wow, I now feel enlightened.
Yeah, this Godzilla, the last Godzilla one changed the way I thought, because I thought Mothra was just like the stupidest thing on the face of the planet, and then I watched this movie, and Mothra's a badass. Mothra's a badass.
Okay.
And then the other question that I have is, when am I allowed to visit Boston again?
Because I would never go
Boston is gone. Boston is gone.
I don't mean to talk bad, but I do not like Boston a whole lot. I don't like Philadelphia a whole lot. As having gone there, I don't like here for cities in general, just kind of whatever. But like those cities kind of just tend to piss me off. Sorry, folks, it's what it is. You know, see the difference. San Diego, I loved, but maybe because it's always 65 and sunny in San Diego, and I was in Philly and it was like, you know, ice storm and whatever. I'm just saying. So, but you know. I think the thing is there by moving it to the end of March, because again they're trying not to compete with the Snyder Cut, which they're putting out also middle of March. You're going to have it's running unopposed. It's going to be able to get whatever release it's going to get.
Well, they're releasing it through Warner Brothers. Weren't they pissed that they were going to release it on the HBO Max and stuff like that, right?
Yes. So that's what they had to work the deal out. So here's what happens. The Netflix offered Legendary $200 million for the movie.
Wow.
I was like, what is Netflix? So Warner Brothers had to come back. They're at 250. That's what I heard. It was reported at $250 million what they offered. So now Legendary is like, all right, fine, you can show it there. Now it will go to theaters if there are theaters open by you. It will, according to what we read.
Not around me.
No. Yeah. Right. But downward.
Well, that's what they're doing. Is they're releasing it. They're releasing it in theaters and HBO Max simultaneously. Yeah. Like they did Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Right. And so there are drive-ins that are open. There are windows that are open. I mean, they're up around us. It's not near us, but you have to go up a little bit. But there's a drive-in's been open the whole time, and they show movies. Like they're not charging, like they're not showing first run movies. They're showing things like they were showing some Disney movies and whatever. And it's like $5. Come see 2 movies because they just need you to come and buy the popcorn and buy the $5 and buy like it doesn't sound like much, but people are like, I don't care. I'll go drive to 30 miles to go see a movie I've already seen just to get out of the house. And if they can start showing first run movies like that, I mean, I think people will go see it. I mean, I'm not going to sit in my car. I'm going to sit in my living room and watch it. I'm certainly not sitting in my car and watching it. But if the idea was if we were still stuck in the house and we weren't going anywhere, and this was a chance to get out.
Yeah, go see
it. Yeah. So, but I think it'll be good. I'm hoping. I've liked the first 3.
Hey guys, I think a first for this show.
Oh,
I think I finished my Godzilla versus Kong.
Wow. That's way further than I got.
I know. Oh, I got to sign it. But yeah, I got to sign it right in the middle. I'm going to sign it right here. Right in the middle, right here. I'm going to do it. Then clean up. But this is the first time I finished something on the show, Wayne.
Wow, sir, you are getting better and better.
No, that's not it. This was just in pencil. That's why. This was just in pencil.
There's no inking. You didn't old school ink it like last week.
Yeah.
So.
I like it. All right. Jake, can we see some of the stuff you got? Because I know some people were.
Yeah, people were really interested in looking at your masks.
Oh, hang on. Well, no, these aren't masks. I can hold this up here. These aren't masks. These are resin heads. Yeah, those are resin heads. So the you have the thing from another world there at the end.
Is that the one from Frankenberries? That one on the end from the Frankenberry cereal?
No, that's the thing from another world. You're a pain in my ass.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So the one in the middle is that took a silver at Jersey Fest. Well, the 2 together took silvers. The werewolf wasn't ever entered because we haven't had a show since then. And that's an original piece where he is vomiting up. It's a zombie pumpkin. I had him vomiting out actual pumpkin seeds.
Ew.
So yeah, super fun. Let's turn. Whoops, as I knock the other camera. Hang on. Oh, let's see if can I get out of here. Can I now get out of here? Let me see if I can get in the hallway.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can see things.
Yeah, you got the ceiling
Devil's,
and
no.
oh no, that's the Devil's Rejects on my ceiling.
Yeah.
I have some artwork on my door. Franco might recognize.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
And there's me in Florida. That was the infamous trip. So they're on the wall. This is one of 5 times that they think they only made a couple of them. It's hard to see. So let's see in the hallway. It's hard to see because I'm looking at the wrong way. Okay, this is the first piece I ever airbrushed. That's the Curse of the Werewolf. This is a full-size bust, right? Behind him is Werewolf of London, right? Full-size bust. This is a Mike Hill. I want to say that's Jeff Yeager. This is Mike Hill. Coming down the hallway.
Reservoir
There's
Dogs. I recognize
the
that.
bride. Yep, the bride and groom. Right. And then of course her hair is huge, right? Bride and groom. Yeah.
So now you made the decision to go a different color, or black for the hair, or red for the hair, or brown.
So her hair should be red. In reality, her hair should be red. That's actually the color it was. So I have a friend who's really into like what things actually should be. He has a whole website dedicated to that and stuff. And it's her actual eye color. She actually has, it's hard to see. She actually has real eyelashes I put on and stuff like that. So everything matches. This is the actual tone of the makeup they used. Kind of things that look exactly like the clothing is the right color. For things like that, like her hair is supposed to be that color. And it actually has metallics in it. It's hard to see because we're such bad lighting, but I put metallics in it so it pops up. Here's the creature. We painted this. This is one of the first pieces I painted after I was able to hold an airbrush again. This is, we got the Wolfman right here on the corner. Again, we're getting kind of, there's not a ton of, I have all the lights on we can possibly have. Let's just turn. And this is the mummy. This is the one at one.
You have all the classics in the hallway.
The Karloff mummy.
Yes. So this mummy is the one that wound up winning. It's hard to see. There we go. This took Best Universal at Jersey Fest. And this is one of my silver medals. The only gold medal I have, one is at my dad's house, because that's a whole diorama. The
next time we do one of these, you're gonna have to do it from your dad's house so we can see all.
Oh, good Lord, dude! We could just do a whole episode just walking around my dad's room, kind of thing, right? So there's, of course, Bela Lugosi, and the thing is, the pieces that are here, I do all my classics, all my classic universals and stuff are in the hallway. And I might be painted to look like a movie theater, like it's like, kind of like cobalt with whatever. So it looks like an old movie theater. So we have movie posters, Kong and them and stuff. And, it's just one of those things that like, the big heads and these are all from, everyone in this hallway is from Blackheart Studios. My buddy, George Stevenson, is the proprietor of that. And if you're interested in these things, check them out. Blackheart Studios stuff. And they run a couple $100 a piece, and you got to paint them, but you got to know how to paint them. And he goes, I'll tell you right now, something this big, you got to have a place to put it, kind of thing. I mean, it's huge,
Yeah, that is, yeah.
And so, and of course, as you know, because you saw it when Haley did her for Halloween, I do masks and stuff too. And then when I did her mask, I did the liquor from Resident Evil for Haley. Like she picked it out, we redo the mask and stuff like that. And I'll do those for her. Like I have her next Halloween mask. We're kind of working on that. It's kind of an affected zombie with all kinds of things. And because my daughter loves that stuff. She has Frankenstein giant posters in her room. She's built Frankenstein. She builds models as well, kind of thing. So
like the one sheet Frankenstein poster?
In her, what she has is it's a door hanger, and it's supposed to cover your entire door. It's it's Karloff's Frankenstein from Bride, because he has the burns on his face.
Okay.
And it's supposed to cover your entire 6-foot door. It's a 6-foot tall Frankenstein just in her room on a wall. And she she's been. I would not paint a whole lot of Frankensteins normally. I mean, I like Frankenstein, but it's not like something I would paint a ton of.
Give us while you're talking, give us a last look at the one that you were working on during the show.
Sure. Let me just grab.
You can hold it up to the other camera.
Yeah, I was trying to fix the camera. I banged into it. So I didn't get a whole lot done here. Here. Let me take a look here. Whoops.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the what he calls in. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. The camera's on the wrong side. I'm thinking the camera's over here. That's right. So I mean, the teeth are kind of in. There's nothing super major done here. I got to figure out the color. So one of the things I got to do is when you go in, when you do your modeling technique, when you kind of go in and do it, I got to break up the skin tone because this gray is fine but it's not a great skin base. I mean, it works fine for the base, but I got to figure out what base color I want to go with. The issue becomes if we go more fleshy tones with him or whites and stuff with him, I just feel like it looks like too many other pieces. So I originally thought of going like black, but black's really, really hard, kind of thing. So I might go in and do purples or something. I don't know. But anyway, his muzzle will definitely be, his muzzle will definitely have the fleshy look to the gums. I'm moving the wrong way. Fleshy little gums and then the teeth and stuff. So we'll see. Cool. Next time I'm on, I'll show you either he'll be done or he won't, because that's the only options we have. But I'll show you where we're at next time I'm on. Cool. So closer to WrestleMania when it's time to talk wrestling.
WrestleMania,
brother.
Wait, we have anybody last comments or anything, or just drop off?
Everyone just. Andy Price just mentioned her hair was red.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I had fun tonight, and one last look at this. This is finished piece. The Godzilla. I'll have it up on my store. I'm having an internal struggle whether I want to sell these things on my Big Cartel site or on my website. I should start putting everything on my website. My website guy yells at me. You should always put them on the website. So I'll probably put them up on the website. But that's them done.
It came out great.
Oh, thank you. And then yeah. So we'll hi everybody. Thanks, Jason, for coming on and showing us some stuff and talking Godzilla and Kong. We'll definitely probably have you back probably around WrestleMania because there's no one else wrestling in the world that knows more wrestling about you. So probably have you on if we do the show. Sure. But next week we will be on with Andy Price and we're probably going to talk MASH, the old MASH series, because he's big into that. And we'll talk the new WandaVision with him if he still wants to come on. But after this, but he's cool. He's a cool guy. I like talking to Andy about stuff. So thanks everybody for coming. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Yeah.
Jazz hands.